We'll let everybody gather around here as of 6:25. Meteorologist Chad Evans here. And we're still tracking storms in the area. I'm going to let everybody kind of gather that is interested. So give me one moment. I'll let everybody kind of gather around. Okay, I've got 13 on here right now. I'm just kind of letting everybody gather around. Hello to Jonathan there. Hello, everybody. I'm going to let everyone gather around. We've got two new severe thunderstorm warnings, western Benton, and then we've got northern Pulaski County. As some more storms continue to come through. We've already had severe weather this afternoon, move through our northern and eastern counties. And now we have some other storms coming in right as we speak. So I'll let everybody kind of come in a little bit. Okay, so here's where we stand as of 6:30. Just to kind of lay everything out here, say where we are right now. Again, we've had the severe weather earlier. Of any damage reports or any big power outages, they've been here, 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 and then Miami County, Peru, Mexico area, Grissom Air Reserve Base, Galveston, Howard County, and then down into Tipton County, and then also down north of Sheridan, and then also northeast of Monon. So these are the areas that have had wind damage, severe gusts measured, or near severe gusts measured today. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 main pockets here from these storms we had earlier. Well, now we got some more storms coming in, and we've got new warnings that are up. The first warning is up here in Pulaski County for wind gusts of 60. There is the tornado possible tag here, and the 1-inch diameter hail part on this storm that the Weather Service has pointed out. We'll show the hail product first. This looks like some pea-sized hail right now coming from this storm. If we loop it, we can see, I'm going to kind of decrease the frames here. We'll bring them down to 14. And we can see this storm coming in. There was a pretty intense hail core with potential golf ball hail north of our area. You see it right there, that gray or pink color. But now it looks like the worst of the hail has been dropped. And we don't have that kind of hail in that storm anymore. So this is small hail. In terms of the wind, we'll wipe the data back on the screen. I'm going to pull the northern Indiana radar. And trying to get a decent vantage point on this. We'll go ahead and loop this. And if we've got pretty intense wind, it is up in this storm near North Judson and approaching Pulaski County. So that's moving southward right now. That's why there's a gust to 60 tag. We will wait and see if we get any rotation with it. that's something to watch with this storm as well. It has shown a little bit of a weakening trend as it has come out of like LaPorte County and through Stark County, but still the severe risk is there as it comes into northern Pulaski County. Again, a gust to 60, some small hail. It's got the tornado possible tag that is on it. I believe it's moving at 45 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and use that and put a storm track on it as it moves southward and knock it back down to 40 and bring it through Pulaski County and then southward into White and northern Carroll County. So times of arrival at 19 minutes to Francisville, 29 to Monon, Pulaski 14. We've got Bell Center 25, Royal Center half an hour, Lake Sycott 38 minutes, Logansport 45, Monticello 38, Reynolds 39 minutes, Yeoman 46 minutes, Rockfield 49, Burroughs 47, and Delphi, it's 54 minutes away. It's about an hour to Deer Creek and about an hour to Deacon and 54 minutes to Brookston. There's Chalmers at about 48 minutes and about 40 minutes to Reynolds as well. Half hour from Monon and just under a half an hour to Hanging Grove as the storm drops in that general direction. Now the other storm is out here in with the severe thunderstorm warning out in southwestern Benton County. Now I'm going to pull up to try to get the best look at this storm. I'm going to take Lincoln and let's pull up the Chicago radar. This is an intense supercell thunderstorm that has completely gotten through the cap, and it is intense. We've got a likely tornado here west of Watseka where you see that thumb appendage. There's your tornado right there just west of Watseka. I would bet this is probably observed now. Very likely tornado here. When we take our correlation coefficient, there's been a signal of some debris being kicked up by this storm. And if we got debris, it's probably this little pocket right here in that storm. But tornado likely right here, but this is going to likely miss our area as it drops more south-southeast than southeast. So right there it is, definite tornado here, winds perhaps up to 80 miles an hour at Watseka, Illinois. So there's your tornado dropping kind of in this direction, south or south-southeast, around there. And the part that's got the severe thunderstorm warning on it is right here northwest of Sheldon. And that's why the warning is up for Benton County. So this is the part that we got to watch very closely for Benton County. It's that purple and red part. Now, looks like the worst of it is gonna be awfully close to Boswell and Ambia with that south-southeastward progress. So be ready for winds potentially up to 70 miles an hour that are located on this side of the storm. Again, your tornadoes over here with perhaps a gust even on the back side of it, and in the front flank downdraft, winds may be up to 80, but even over here you may get winds 70, maybe 70 plus. And those could track right through this area right here, pretty close to Boswell and awfully close to Ambia. So that's why you've got the warning, the severe thunderstorm warning that is up right now. When we wipe on that wind data, again, a lot of that higher wind is here, but also really intense wind located close to that tornado there. But this could clip Benton County, kind of like right in this zone here, this little triangle. That's where winds could potentially gust to 70 miles an hour, right in that zone. So that's why the warning is out now. The tornado part of the storm and the largest hail should be just west of Benton County. We may get a little bit of hail there, but certainly the biggest hail that we've got is really trending. And this hail could be upwards of tennis ball or baseball size around Watseka. And it looks like that will probably track just west of the Benton County line. Still awfully close call for Ambia, but it's still that zone close to Boswell and near Ambia where that X is. Gust of 70, and I can't completely rule out some hail that does get to 1 inch in diameter or exceeds it right on the edge of the big hail that's with that storm near Watseka. So tremendous supercell over there in that part of Illinois, in Iroquois County. And this is awfully close to Benton County right now, just west of Kentland, and just a tremendous amount of cloud to ground lightning being produced by that storm as well. So we got to watch that one really close. I'm going to go ahead and put a storm track on it. Weather Service has this moving at 30 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and take it at 30 and drop it south-southeastward. And all the key thing to remember, all this thing would have to do is make just a slight jog. If it made a slight jog to the right, you would be getting into some of that big hail in Benton County. So I'm thinking right now the worst of it is in Iroquois County, but you still may get a gust of 70 and some hail 1 inch or a little bigger in that little sliver of southwest Benton County. And then we've got to watch Warren County too for that particular storm. So putting a track here, well, I'll go ahead and kind of use this front part of the storm like this and drop it kind of southeastward and bring it right into Warren County. So 24 minutes to Ambia. If it would get into Boswell, some of the more intense part, it would be there in about 20 minutes. Talbot 25, Dunnington 17, Freeland Park 12 minutes for the worst part of it. And then you go down to Stewart, 43, Carbondale, 48, Judyville, 46 minutes, Hedrick, 50 minutes, 55 minutes to 5 Points here, northwest of Williamsport, about an hour to West Lebanon, and down to Johnsonville here in Warren County. Right there where 41 and 26 come together as you turn towards Hooker Corner and Pine Village, or if you want to go westward to Hoopeston, Illinois, that area is probably looking at it being there in a little more than a half an hour for the stronger part of that storm to arrive. So again, watching that particular nasty supercell dropping its way to the south-southeast. We've got another warning here for Vermilion and northeast Edgar County. This could impact Vermilion and southwest Park counties here in just a little bit. The main threat from this storm is wind, though we do have some hail mixed up in it. This is sub-severe hail that's moving towards Dana and St. Bernice and Highland and Newport and eventually Mecca down here in our far southwestern counties. And it's been noted that there has been a pretty consistent wind core in this storm, which I'm going to pull Lincoln's radar to get a better vantage point from it. Try to get the best vantage point. So right there it would be, your wind core is going to be right here, dropping southeastward. So just be aware down here in this part of Park and southern Vermilion counties of the storm headed in that general direction for some hail and the wind threat too. I believe this one's moving at about this one may be moving a little faster. This one's 45. It looked like it was moving faster. So we'll take this at 45 and drop it to the southeast. Down into our far southwestern counties. Mecca, 23 minutes. There's Dana in 10 minutes. Rockville, close call for you, but it's a half an hour. Newport, 15, close call. Certainly Summit Grove, 20 minutes. Coxville, 29. Catlin, half an hour. Blandford, 18 minutes. And Bridgeton, about 36 minutes for that storm to reach your area. Now, if you're watching from Greater Lafayette, we've had some rain and thunder and lightning, but there's nothing in the area right now. We're in pretty good shape, but just some rain, a little thunder, perhaps. Flora, down to Frankfort and Thorntown. There's your flash flood warning that's still up for Tipton and a southeastern Clinton and eastern Boone County. You can see the amount of rainfall that's come down here. This is since this afternoon. That's why the warning is out. We see totals of upwards of 2 inches here in western Tipton County. Some places up to 1.5 inches far eastern Clinton County. And eastern Boone, it's really the far eastern part of Boone County that's had 1.5 inches of rainfall. Not as much as you go northwestward, but nonetheless, you still see the flash flood warning. The heaviest rains have been Sheridan up here to about Kempton. And then some pretty heavy rain up here. Even these totals, 1-2 inches of rain, all the way up through Walton and also northeast of Peru and near Rochester. Not as much as you go westward, but more as you certainly go northward as well. But we'll get back into severe weather mode, out of the necessarily heavier rainfall mode. Note how that storm up in Pulaski County has really collapsed. It's really weakened a lot. I think what's happened is it's moved into rain-cooled air. We still have a thunderstorm up there. We've got some thunder and lightning and heavier rainfall, but a lot of this area is rain-cooled. It's been overturned by storms earlier. A little harder for it to stick together. So still heavy rain east of Rensselaer through southwest of Winnemac, but this storm has really lost its umph as it's raced southeastward. So yes, rain, thunderstorms coming back into Cass, Cass, White, Northern Carroll, and eventually Miami counties, but it doesn't look severe right now. This storm at Cedar Lake does have a warning on it, dropping southward, so we got to watch this one coming back into Newton and Jasper counties. Now, again, a lot of this area has been overturned by earlier rainfall, especially Jasper County and far northeastern Newton. Now, it has warmed up a little bit at Morocco and Brook and Kentland, so we'll see how this particular storm holds together at Crown Point. It's got a warning on it for winds to 60 miles an hour. It's got a 1-inch hail mention, and that hail core is near Crown Point. If it holds together, it's going to bring a little bit of hail to far northern Newton County. And the wind velocity product does show a core wind up in that storm near Crown Point dropping southward. So that's the area to watch. We'll be watching this pocket of wind as it drops southward towards Lake Village and also just to the west of Roseland, the Sumava Resorts area, west of Thayer, and eventually it's going to plow into central Newton County around Morocco, Enos, Beaver City, and Brook area right there. It is 6:43. This is where we stand right now. The last of the storms is at Chicago and pretty much along, what is that, US 30. Runs from Valpo over to Plymouth. So once we get those storms southward or southeastward through our forecast area, we're going to be done with the storms for the night. We're in good shape, I think. Or done with any of the severe storms for the night, that is. They'll be out of here and we can breathe easier. But for the meantime, we still have some severe weather risk. The good news is that here in our northeastern and eastern counties, the atmosphere has been worked over pretty good. Remember, we measured wind gusts up to 66 miles an hour when these storms went through earlier. So this particular region right through here has been worked over pretty good, where I've got the X. So storms here may have a hard time really going severe in any regard. There'll be storms nonetheless, rain, but the severe weather risk seems lower here. It's higher as you go westward. Now, we've had some rain in Greater Lafayette. We've had rain over here in parts of Benton County, parts of Warren County as well, but there's still pockets of heating going on. And these storms, even up towards Chicago and Crown Point, in the big supercell near Watseka and the storm south of Danville, still have to come through parts of our western counties. Now, we're still going to get showers and storms in Greater Lafayette, but if we're going to get any severe weather out of anything in Greater Lafayette, it's likely going to be this up here coming out of Crown Point. This supercell will miss us. This will. This likely won't be severe, but this could bring us some rainfall as well. But it's the final push, the final front coming in right up here that could be the one that brings any sort of severe weather risk. So that's the area to watch. So to kind of reset things, once again, we're tracking really 3 areas of severe storms right now that are of concern. One, again, I just mentioned the Crown Point storm. We also have this monster supercell that's had a history of producing a tornado near Watseka. And this thing, the tornado shows up very well just to the southwest of Watseka, that thumb appendage. You can see it right here. Right here's a tornado. And it's had a history of producing tornadoes with it. And it's also got some big hail associated with it as well. Some of this hail could be tennis ball, baseball sized to the east of Watseka. Now, the big thing is, we've got this severe thunderstorm warning in southwest Benton County. The worst of this storm, really, I would say the wind part of the storm starts about right here. And then the big hail is about right here. So we've got to watch the movement of that. It's kind of moving southeastward. The area to truly watch is Ambia, and we'll have to still keep a close eye on Boswell. If this thing does a little bit more of a left turn, we're going to have the wind and the hail get right into Ambia and Boswell. I still think we got a shot at it. Dunnington, Talbot, near Boswell, Ambia. Got to watch Freeland Park for gusts to 70. Maybe the hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. Still got to watch the big hail that is occurring in Iroquois County. The tornado part would tend to miss Benton County. We still see that thumb appendage southwest of Woodland. Again, that's still west of Benton County, but the hail is awfully close. Your intense hail that may be, up to baseball size it's less than 6 miles west of the county line. And in terms of your wind, I would say some of the higher wind gusts with this storm, what are they? They're only, they're less than that from the county line. I'm going to kind of go back. I would say some of the higher wind gusts probably begin about 2.5 miles away from the county line. So again, Dunnington, Talbot, near Boswell, Freeland Park, Ambia, just get ready for wind and any sort of hail that tries to come in with that storm. And pretty serious storm that's over there in Iroquois County, Illinois right now. So given that, the warning continues for Benton County for another 42 minutes. The other storm to watch, we've got a severe thunderstorm here that is south of Danville, Illinois. It's moving southeastward. We may very well have a severe thunderstorm warning issued, maybe for this area right here, for this part of our forecast area, Dana, Highland, Mecca, Rosedale, Clinton, St. Bernice, that area that we kind of cover right there, that's the area to watch. There's your intense wind core. It's south of Georgetown. It's dropping to the southeast, and it's got at least a little bit of hail in it, but it's not been big hail. The big hail is more out towards away from our area. Should pass in Edgar County, Illinois, but the P and the Marbles should be Dana, Highland, Mecca, that area, and perhaps a wind gust up to 60 miles an hour. Wind core keeps showing up in that storm near Chrisman and Ridge Farm. Ridge Farm there in Illinois. So those are the 3 main storm areas that we're watching right now. I've had a lot of questions about, okay, is it going to storm in Lafayette? And how is Lafayette looking? And even my email, I think I've had like 15 questions. Is Lafayette going to get anything? Is West Lafayette going to get anything? Is Fowler going to get anything? How's Lafayette doing? Is Lafayette going to get severe weather? I'm so confused. So we've already had one round of severe weather go through our northern and eastern counties. We're tracking severe storms, one just north of the Kankakee River. We've got another one approaching southwest Benton County, another one moving into southern Vermilion and southwest Park County. In terms of greater Lafayette, if we're going to get showers and storms, if we're going to get severe weather, it's going to come from these storms up here. This one will stay west of us. This one will stay southwest of us. But if we're going to get it, it's going to be this one right here. We've had plenty of severe weather elsewhere. It's been over here in this area. We've got to watch this intense severe storm moving towards southwest Benton County. But it's that storm that's approaching the Kankakee River. That's the one that could impact Lafayette. Is Attica going to get anything? Again, if we're going to get severe weather in Attica, it would either be here or we will watch this storm coming out of Benton County because these are all kind of dropping south to south-southeastward. So 3 areas of storms we're watching. Got them numbered right here. We've got 1, 2, 3. Severe weather risk is decreasing over here because it's rain cooled. It'll still rain. It will still storm. That's where it is. So Benton County is facing the apocalypse. Got it. Now you're not facing the apocalypse, but you've got a supercell just west of your area right now. We've had a tornado in Iroquois County, Illinois. And again, not all of Benton County is going to get this storm. Worst of it is in Iroquois County, but it's that warned area near Boswell, Ambia, Talbot, Dunnington, Freeland Park. That's the area to watch. We got to watch for some hail, and we got to watch for Augusta 70. We've had likely tennis and baseball hail in Iroquois County, Illinois. The worst of the hail is just west of you from Benton County. But you still may get some. You still got the risk of 70-mile-per-hour gusts. There's the warning. I don't think you're going to get tennis ball-sized hail in Benton County, but we still got to watch for that wind to impact you. The biggest hail is right here. This is where the big hail is located. This is where your tornado is located. So there's the tornado. Here's your hail. There's a little bit of hail likely mixing in here, and this is where your wind is as well. So it's close. It is right in this zone here. So again, it's right in that sliver of that severe thunderstorm warning. It's west of Oxford. Again, it's Talbot, near Boswell, Ambia, Dunnington, and the Freeland Park area. That's the area to watch for some hail in Augusta 70. What about Independence? Again, if you track the trajectory of this storm, it's moving in this general direction here. So western Warren County, we got to keep an eye on that. We got to watch western Fountain County, Independence. It's the threat is less, that is, but we got to watch it moving southward towards that particular area. So what I can do is put a storm track on it. I'm going to put a storm track on the heavier part of the storm. So we won't do the whole storm. Let's just focus on the part that's got the heavier weather associated with it. So I think the timing is, or the speed is still the same. We'll take it at 30 miles an hour and move it southeastward with close tabs on it because it's awfully close. And the heavier part, let's do something like this. We'll do that and bring it southeastward like that. So here it's coming into Ambia. There's West Lebanon, 39 minutes. Hedrick, 30. Williamsport, 41. 38 minutes to Marshfield. Johnsonville, 40 minutes. Carbondale, 30 minutes. Judyville, 27 minutes. Sycamore Corner, 24 minutes. Stewart, 23. Briscoe, 24 minutes. Talbot, 10 minutes. Again, very close to Boswell, some of the heavier stuff. We'll say Boswell, let's go with about 10 minutes to get to that particular location, even though it's raining and thundering there right now. Rob Roy, 50 minutes. Williamsport, 41. Fountain, 46 minutes. And Foster, 51 minutes. Stone Bluff, more like about 55 minutes. And Covington, about 53 minutes to get to that particular location. Again, where's the tornado? Well, the tornado's here. It's going to pass over this way. The big hail is right here. Going to pass right through here, and then right on the edge, hail and wind we got to look out for. It's not tennis ball and baseball, but could be up to 1 inch in diameter. We got to watch it closely, and a gust of 70 is possible. So that's that particular storm. The other storm, let's go back north, is right there at Crown Point, or south of Crown Point, that is. And it's dropping southward. We got a warning on it. We'll do a storm track on this one as well. This one's probably moving faster. 35, we'll take it at 40. It's a little bit of a line. It's got a little bit of acceleration to it. And we'll loop it a second here. This one's pretty much moving due south. So we'll take it due south at 40. Like so. And bring it in through Newton County. 29 minutes to Morocco, Enos 22, Mount Air half an hour, Lake Village 9 minutes, 6 minutes Sumava Resorts, you're looking at Ade 37 minutes, Brook 37, Forsman 38, Mount Air 30, Goodland 49 minutes, and Kentland about 47 minutes away. Again, moving due south, Wadena 56 minutes, about an hour to areas just south of Wadena there. And finally, and again, the threat there is wind with that one. A gust of 60 possible, a little small hail can't be ruled out. The final storm to look at is down here in the far southwestern portion of the forecast area. And right there it is. The worst of it is Chrisman, Illinois, Metcalf, Illinois, west of the state line. It is moving southeastward. We may end up with a warning soon for this area. We'll take it to the southeast at about 40 miles an hour. And there it is at Mecca in 20 again. Clinton 18, Blandford 11, close to Rockville. We're talking about 28 minutes, 23 to Coloma. Dana 8 minutes, and finally Catlin 28, and Rosedale 28 minutes, right there on the southwest fringe of our forecast area. Gust to 60. Some hail cannot be ruled out, P to perhaps up to penny size in that storm. Pull the Indianapolis radar once again. There is where we are. The back edge of the storms has now crossed US 30. Again, US 30 is right here. So south of there, the storms are out. And once all that comes through, we should be in good shape. So here it is, 7 o'clock in the evening. We've had what? Had some degree of severe weather, or we've had storms around. Has it been, 5 hours now? So 5 hours of this. Already one round went through. Trees, power lines down in parts of our northern and eastern counties, with the highest gust measured was 66 in Fulton County. Then we had that 60 at the Grissom Air Reserve Base, the 57 northeast of Monon, the 55 near Medaryville. And we got a few more storms to get through for these evening hours. Again, this is the final batch. And to just reiterate, because some of you are just joining me, and some of you have been with me for a while, since I got back on here. So, not to be repetitive, but you have to refresh about every 15 minutes and kind of go over things once again, because you're always getting new people on here. So given all that, here's where we stand. After one round of severe weather earlier, I will tell you that this area right here has been worked over. Right here, where I've got the X's. Severe weather risk is very low in this area. Everything's been overturned. So rain and thunderstorms, but I'm just not thinking much in the way of severe weather risk here. Anywhere in that zone where you see the X's, and that is northeast of Rensselaer, it's Logansport, it's Kokomo, Tipton, it's Sheridan, it's Rushville, it's Deer Creek, it's Peru, it's 12 Mile, it's Royal Center, it's Headley, it's Monon, it's Rochester, Kewanna, all those areas. The area that isn't necessarily finished with all the severe weather risk is west of that line. And there are 3 storms that I'm watching. They're either moving southward or they are moving kind of southeastward. Now, the storm that is up here in Lake County, right here, is dropping due south. And it has a wind threat on it. We've heated up a little bit in this area once again after we were worked over a little bit around Roselawn earlier by storms. So we started to heat up a little bit once again. But this is dropping due south. And the main threat here is wind. And I've been noticing this little wind core will pull Chicago's radar up. There's been a little wind core on this storm dropping southward out of Crown Point and dropping through Lowell and now near Schneider and south of Lowell. And it's moving right into northern Newton County. We'll wait and see what kind of wind gusts we get at Lake Village, but we've got a decent core here that may have a wind gust up to 60. It's dropping due south, so it's going to impact areas like Lake Village and Enos. And if it holds together, it would impact Morocco, the Kankakee Bison area, and the Willows Slough Fish and Wildlife area. Other storms. So the second storm is this big supercell that is just raking Iroquois and now moving into northeastern Vermilion County in Illinois. And it's had a tornado on it. Well, you can see where the tornado is. It's the teardrop, or I've been calling it the thumb too. Right on the back of that storm, right there. If we got a tornado, it's right there, just to the southwest of Milford. And you pull up the velocity, and right there it is. Again, Wellington area too of Illinois. And some damaging wind in that as well. So you've got your damaging wind that is over here. And then you got your tornado right here that still may be occurring. We've already had one reported. And this little sliver is the severe thunderstorm warning for Benton County. That includes Ambia, but it's west of Boswell. It is right close there to Dunnington and Talbot, right by that severe thunderstorm warning. So in that pocket right there, you may have a little bit of hail, couple stones pushing 1 inch diameter, maybe a gust 60, 70, but the big hail and the gust to 80 and the tornado is all just west of you in Illinois. So it's just that little sliver of a warning for Ambia and around Talbot and Dunnington in Benton County. It's staying west of Fowler and staying west of Oxford, even though we're getting the rain there. And there you see that little red part that's going to pass near Dunnington, Talbot, and Ambia right there. But where is your tennis ball and baseball hail? Well, it's going to be right here. And this is where your winds of 70, 80 miles an hour are going to be. And this is where your tornado is going to be right here. Right now, just west of Wellington, Illinois. Now, where does it go from here? Now, we will have to watch it into western Warren County. There's no warning for western Warren County, but I would say it's going to be this little sliver that we've got to watch. So it would be Hedrick, near West Lebanon, and Foster. We got to watch that area closely for this storm. Stewart included. Johnsonville, and Marshfield included as well. Just be ready because some of these damaging winds and some of that hail just might skim by your area. And then you got to watch Covington and Perrysville a little bit with the risk of damaging wind and some hail too. So right, just that little sliver of western Warren, and again, western Fountain County, and now I'd even say northern Vermilion County, got to watch that storm because that's a nasty one. Right close to the state line. And then finally, the other one is the big storm down near Chrisman, Illinois. That's going to impact Dana and Clinton, southern Vermilion, southwest Park counties down here with the threat of a damaging wind gust and some small hail embedded in that storm, perhaps penny-sized, but a lot of marbles and peas, maybe a nickel or two mixed in right in that just far southwestern quarter of the area. And the rest of the area is in pretty good shape right now. Again, if we're going to get any severe weather in Lafayette, it is going to be from whatever is up here brewing around Morocco and Rensselaer. This area over here, it's just been worked over way too much, and you're in good shape. But we'll watch this movement, and then the movement way down in this far southern part of our forecast area. So that's where we stand right now in terms of weather going on in our area. I want to stick with this because that storm west of Benton County, that is a big storm. And, all it would have to do is make a little bit of a jog, and it would start to really have big impacts on Warren County. So I want to keep a close eye on that one. In fact, one thing I haven't done is I'll go ahead and pop up my local storm reports from the National Weather Service. Again, they won't be all the reports for sure, but it gives us an idea of reports. I only have one report from the storm that they've typed up anyway. We had golf ball sized hail at Watseka. Probably had bigger hail than that, I would expect, not far from there. Because this was a heck of a hail core showing up on this storm. And that hail core is still, boy, that's awfully close to Ambia. So right now, that's the Indianapolis radar. I'm trying to get the best vantage point, Lincoln or Indy. I think I'm going to use the Indianapolis radar. So right now, that largest hail, that big hail, is 5 miles from Ambia? Awfully close. And we may be getting some hail there right now, a little bit anyway. I'll pull up the vertically integrated liquid. Yeah, there may be even some pea hail nearby, but that is a nasty hail core not far from there. And it looks like NWS, they've got hen egg sized hail risk on that storm. But there could be some stones, tennis balls, and boy, it sure looked like there could be a few baseballs mixed in there. That's very close to Ambia right now. And we'll wipe on the wind data. And of course, if we got a tornado here, and I had reports of one, doesn't look as tight as it was. If we've got a tornado, why, it's right here. Not impacting Benton County, but I can tell you that tornado is only, 9 miles from Ambia? And from the county line, from the Benton County line, it's about 9 miles from there. So it's not really that far away. It's dropping southward. So close call, very close. Your big hail is here. Some other hail is in this general area. That's peas, marbles, maybe a few quarters. And you got to watch for winds to 70 right there too. And then your potential tornado is here. So very close, right in this zone. So that little sliver of a warning is good near Dunnington, west of Talbot. And we've got to get ready here in the far western fringe of Warren County. The tornado warning is actually right up to the county line, and the Lincoln office has issued that, but Indianapolis has not issued anything yet. But they've got that warning right up to the county line west of Hedrick. It does look like this, if we got a tornado, it's going to pass probably in this general direction. Hoopeston, near Hoopeston, Rossville, west of Alvin, Bismarck. But the hail part, that's going to be close. You know, if we do a little bit of a jog, look what happens. You're going to be getting some bigger hail. If it hangs together long enough, it's going to be moving towards Hedrick and pretty close to Pence. And the wind is going to be awfully close too. So the outer edge of those severe winds is going to be awfully close to Pence and Stewart. So I'd be ready in that little corridor, and then farther downstream, you got to be ready too, west of West Lebanon, Marshfield, Johnsonville, Foster, and eventually Covington. We'll see how this storm evolves as it drops south and south-southeastward with time. It's certainly a large supercell, pretty significant supercell that we've got on hand right there. So that's one storm we're really keeping an eye on right now. May end up with a warning, severe thunderstorm warning soon. Again, that western Warren County sliver, including Hedrick, I'd really watch for. And then finally, again, the other storm, southwest Vermilion County, not to repeat, but again, I don't want to leave anybody out here. There's no warning on that, but we got a messy, heavy storm that may produce a water-loaded 60-mile-per-hour gust with some small hail at St. Bernice, Clinton, Fairview Park, Rosedale, Dana, and Mecca. Nothing in Lafayette. One little thunder shower south of Shadeland. We've got some storms, though, coming in from the north. I'm going to try to get my best vantage point of the storms here, so we'll take the Chicago radar. No warning on this storm coming into northern Newton County. It has had a wind core on it. It's dropping due south, so Mount Airy, Morocco, there it is, barreling your way. Otherwise, it's just a scattering of just rain and thunderstorms from White County and all the way eastward through Miami and Howard counties. And then there's that flash flood warning. Again, I showed you this earlier, but I'll pop the rainfall totals on here. It's a pretty large flash flood warning, but the areas that have really had the greatest amount of rain, it's a pretty narrow area, actually. It's this zone between near Kempton, Sheridan, east of Whitestown, west of Tipton, west of Atlanta. So it's a pretty narrow corridor where we've had anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches of rain right here. And some pretty heavy rain, about the same amounts of rain actually here in eastern Cass, western Howard, parts of Miami County. This area has had a lot of rain too. When we take a look at those totals, you know, I'll pull northern Indiana's radar for Miami County, get a better view. There we go. So yeah, we've had 1.5 to 2 inches of rain here as well. And also in northern Fulton County, we see up to 2 inches of rain. And we'll go south, we'll pull the Indy radar to get a better look. And then, yeah, same amounts, 1.5 to 2 inches of rain, western Howard, and then right through into Cass County too. All right, it is 7:13. Thanks everyone for joining me. Why am I still on? Well, I've been waiting on this warning to maybe be issued for western Warren County, and there it is. There's the new warning. So this sliver of a severe thunderstorm warning for western Warren County, winds 60, maybe even 70. The hail core, we've had confirmed golf ball hail near Watseka. But there's strong evidence that we probably had some tennis or baseball hail there for a while in Iroquois County, Illinois. And now this supercell, which also we did have a report of a tornado west of Watseka, Illinois. Now this particular supercell, which has been dropping kind of south and then kind of south-southeast, is dropping south-southeastward. So The thumb part of that, or the teardrop part of that, is where you would have your tornado that could develop, and it is right here, and that's going to be moving right into Hoopeston. That's why the tornado warning is up here in that red polygon. The hail is kind of locked up here. It does not look as big as it did earlier. This looks like half-dollar sized hail. It doesn't look like it is quite the golf balls and quite the tennis balls and baseballs that we had earlier. We're likely going to get some hail that's right close to ambient, up to 1 inch in diameter. We got to watch for hail coming into that western part of Warren County. Potential is there for hail up to half-dollar size, and also the wind with it. The core of wind is locked up in that area just to the northwest of Pence, near Ambia, right in this zone here. That's where the high wind is located, 60, maybe 70 miles an hour, and there could be hail with that wind as well. And when we wipe on, let's see, I want to pull up, that's the Indy radar. Let's take Lincoln. Trying to get the best vantage point that I can gather here and trying to get the best look. So your strong wind would be, your rotation would be here direction. So it's that sliver from Ambia down to Hedrick and Foster, west of West Lebanon, where we got that risk 60 to 70, maybe hail up to quarter, maybe up to half-dollar size at the largest, right with that storm, as that supercell drops south-southeastward with time. So that's the main storm in our area right now that I just want to stick with. I want to follow that through Warren County. I think it's moving at 40. They've got it at 30 at the Weather Service. We'll take it at 30, maybe 35 to take the middle road, and change the timing here. We'll take it at 35 and track it right into Fountain County. So let's see. We'll take the strongest part. So let's go ahead and do this. So Hedrick, it's about 10, 11 minutes away, the strongest part of it. Stewart, 6 minutes. Marshfield, 18 minutes. 20 minutes to Johnsonville. State Line City, 23 minutes. And then you take it southward to Foster, half an hour. It's a little more than a half an hour to Covington. Layton, 36 minutes. Coal Creek, 44 minutes. Perrysville, 41 minutes. Cates, 50 minutes. Harveysburg, 53 minutes. And Kingman, 55 minutes. Then you go down to Tangier, Sylvania, Howard, and the Silverwood area. This is right on the park, where Park Vermilion and Fountain County meet, right off Silver Island Road. It's going to be about 50 to 60 minutes to get to that particular location. So there it is, dropping southward, or south-southeastward with time. And the other storm is still going through northern Newton County. I'd like to just take a moment here and let's see what kind of wind this is producing up in Newton County. So again, keep in mind, again, get a lot of questions about, what about Attica? What about Lafayette? I'm still getting some questions about like Rossville. Is it going to impact Rossville? So this storm here is impacting far western Warren, western Fountain. We've got to watch northwest Park County, northern Vermilion. Wind hail threat there. The tornado part should stay in Illinois, at least for right now. The rest of the area, it's just showers and thunderstorms for now. If we're going to get any sort of severe weather in Attica or Lafayette or Otterburn or Fowler or Brookston or Battleground, it's going to be from these here. These are the last of the storms. Over here, the atmosphere has been worked over. We're not going to get any severe weather in our eastern counties or southeastern or far southeastern counties. But there's a window for this to hang on. This is moving due south. So it would be this general corridor here that still has a shot of some severe. And that would include Attica, it would include Shadeland, Lafayette, Otterburn, Oxford, Remington, Kentland, Brook. That little line, and we'll watch that little line moving southward. When I look at it from a radar standpoint right now, we'll go back. So there it is, working southward. We see that the higher wind was up here in Lake County. Still's got some decent wind associated with it. Right there it is, and it's moving towards Morocco right now, so there may be some gustiness that's associated, but at this juncture it does not look severe. And there could even be, a little bit of hail with a little bit of pea-sized hail dropping southward towards Morocco and Mount Ayr as well. I'll go back and see what kind of wind gust we had at the Lake Village Airport and Roselawn when this came through. Let's see here. So when I went through the Lake Village Airport, we did have a wind gust of 35 miles an hour. So that's the highest gust we've had all day there. A gust of 35 when that went through. And then at Roselawn, let's see what we've got here. Looks like the gust was... So the gust there was 40. The earlier gust, the gust we had earlier, was 50. So get a gust to 40 there and a gust to 35 at the Lake Village Airport. So far it's 30 to 40. We'll wait and see kind of what this ends up producing. It does have a lot of lightning with it. I would still be on our guard for it, gust to 50, and we'll wait and see if it pulses up a little bit more. But no warning on it. Just know you've got still some decent storms coming in, gusty storms coming in towards Mount Ayr, Morocco. I want to go back to Warren County again for this supercell that's just coming into your area. And if you're hearing thunder right now in Otterburn, West Point, Lafayette, Shadeland, Pine Village, that's this big supercell that's out here from Ambia down to Hedrick. Severe thunderstorm warning is up. It's Ambia through Hedrick, Foster, west of West Lebanon, Marshfield, Johnsonville, Pence, and Stewart. The tornado part of this storm, if we've got one, it would be near Hoopston. It's right there. It's that thumb appendage right here. That would be the tornado. So there, that would be the mesocyclone, and your tornado would be, if we've got one or a funnel cloud here, it'd be right over Hoopston right now, moving southward. The hail part of this storm is making a little bit of a jog towards Warren County. The supercell's a little bit wobbly. Now, we've already had reports of golf ball hail up in Iroquois County, and from a radar standpoint, it sure looked like there were stones, a tennis ball, the baseball hail, somewhere out there in some cornfields, soybean fields in rural Iroquois County. And some of the velocity data sure looked like gusts 70 to 80 miles an hour. Well, now this storm is weaker, but it's still intense. And it is right there at Ambia and just into Pence in northwest of Stewart right now. Dropping, it seems like it's trying to turn a little more southeast. So Stewart, Hedrick, Marshfield, Johnsonville in that severe thunderstorm warning. Be aware. This storm's had a history of big hail. It's likely had a lot of wind with it. I did see a report of a tornado near Watseka, Illinois. When we look at the velocity and trying to just trying to get the best vantage point here without it being too pixely. Let me broaden out. So I'm using the Indianapolis radar. There's Lincoln. Again, Chicago, the beam is so high up, but you're trying to get in it, and it skews the exact location, but you're trying to get the best vantage point here. And there's the rotation right there just to the southeast of Hoopeston. So this would be your area of rotation if we're going to get a tornado here. And it is wobbling a little more to the southeast. So let's be ready. Let's watch this in Hedrick. Let's watch it in Pence. Let's watch these areas right in far western Warren County. Ambia is looking better in terms of the wind and the tornado risk and the hail risk. It's starting to push south of you for now. But if we get ourselves a tornado in the making, it's right there, southeast of Hoopeston. And then you've just got the wind. The wind part's going to be kind of on this side of it. Gust 60, 70 miles an hour that we'll have to watch on this side of it. And it's kind of moving in this direction. So again, these communities downstream need to be on alert for the wind and the hail, and we still got to watch this tornado thread on this little thumb or teardrop appendage that's now southeast of Hoopeston. It's very close to our forecast area right now. I'll go ahead and pull up the hail product. It's still laggy. The hail product is still laggy. That hail core is probably south of Ambia now, but it's coming into that western fringe of Warren County. And, the hail's not as big as it was in Iroquois County. It isn't. But I'd be ready in that western part of Warren County of $50 size hail. If this keeps going, ping pong ball sized hail, something like that. And we're probably getting some of that hail into Ambia right now. Maybe it's up to quarter size, but just that whole corridor, right in that sliver where that warning is, we got to keep a close eye out because it's going to be hugging that zone right there. It looks like it's going to pass west of Petersburg, but again, you got to watch it in Covington. You got to watch it in Foster. Areas west of West Lebanon, you got to watch it as well. So that whole zone is kind of under the risk right now for wind, hail, and then you've got that tornado appendage that is not far from Rossville, Illinois. Not Rossville, Indiana, but Rossville, Illinois. And I'm talking about this part of Illinois, even though it's just out of my forecast jurisdiction, because it is so close to Warren County. And it is going to be impacting, and it has impacted far southwest Benton County. Well, now it's going to be impacting Pence and Stewart and Hedrick. It's moving southeastward. Just to kind of update everybody else on what's going on, we just have a few showers and storms around. Crawfordsville, Wingate, Waynetown, these are not severe at all. Rockville, Brookston, south of Chalmers, rain and thunder and lightning, Bunker Hill to Peru. The other bigger storms are Morocco and Mount Ayr. Before I go back to Warren County, let's go back up here to Newton County. And right on the Jasper County line, pretty vigorous line of storms dropping southward. We'll see what we've had at Morocco. We'll probably be getting the wind gust updated. We know that Lake Village had a gust of 35. We know that Roselawn had a gust of 40 from this. So what we're looking at now is the anemometer at Morocco to see what kind of wind we've had so far, if it's updated so far. Let's see here. Only thing I can see is the winds are out of the east-northeast, currently at 22. That's what I've got. So the wind's kicked up. It's 69 degrees right now. And we'll see what we end up with there in terms of wind from that round of storms. Now I can go ahead and I'll just pull up some of the radar data in that particular storm. The hail's increasing. This storm is pulsing up a little bit. Look at all that cloud to ground lightning. And all those strikes are pretty recent. So this is a storm we'll have to watch. I mean, this thing could go severe at any time. We may have some decent hail loading up in this one. Am I using, let me see here. Okay. Yeah, right there it is. Right, I want to get a little closer vantage point to make sure I'm accurate as possible. So hail is loading in that storm. We got to watch this one. Right now, that's not severe hail. You know, it may be marbles and pennies, but there's a lot of recent lightning in that thing. And from a wind standpoint, you know, from a radar standpoint, it's not overly impressive with the wind, but there's a wall of wind there coming in. We know we've had gusts of 40 at least with it, and it's dropping through Morocco right now and Mount Ayr, and it's headed for Kentland and Goodland and areas near Remington, eventually Benton County. The storm will be in that location. So that's one to watch. I want to keep an eye on that one, as it does look like it's pulsing up a little bit. These other storms aren't going to pulse up. They're just going to rain and storm a little bit. It's these ones in our western counties that we'll have to watch. And if we're going to get any severe weather down here, it's going to be from that. But it's dropping due south. So we'll wait and see if it gets close to Greater Lafayette. So watch that one. But certainly the biggest storm we've got in our area right now is this persistent supercell we've had going for, well, I'll loop this back. This has been going on all the way back to northern Illinois. Look at that. There it goes. Kankakee area. It's been produced. It's had transient rotation. It had a reported tornado with it. It's had golf ball sized hail. It's probably had bigger hail than that. I would bet that we've probably had stones, tennis ball, baseballs near Watseka. It looked like, from a radar standpoint, it dropped a hail load near Watseka, Illinois, and probably wind gusts 70 to 80. And now it is dropping southward. It's made a little bit of a jog to the southeast a little bit. You'll see that at the end of the frames here, and the storm is now coming into our forecast area, western Warren County. It's out of ambient right now, but there it is, and there's your hail. We've got hail that's approaching Pence and Stewart right now, headed for Hedrick. The rotating part of that storm is right here. So if we're going to get a tornado, it's going to be on that little thumb on the end, that area that's off to the far northwest corner. As the storm's dropping more and more, it's making a little turn to the southeast. So it's becoming more of a western Warren County storm with time. That's something we've had to watch closely with this one. Pence, Stewart, Hedrick, Marshfield, Johnsonville, moving in that general direction. Even Sycamore Corner we got to keep an eye on, and areas just west of West Lebanon. We got to watch Covington and Foster as well. But hail and wind, and again the tornado on the western edge of it. And there's your hail up in that storm. You know, the best guess of where the biggest hail is, of, you know, $50 and ping pong balls, maybe we're loading up some golf balls here, is right in this zone here. And it's dropping kind of in this general direction. So get ready for some hail moving that way. And there's your tornado part. And if we've got winds that are severe, why, they're going to be in that zone there, 60, 70 miles an hour too. But long track supercell here, dropping more and more to the southeast. Now, I'm watching the wind and the big hail part, but I'm also watching that back appendage. It's almost like we've got two mesocyclones developing here. You've got one here and you've got one here. So, you could literally have two funnels with this supercell. And then they're just right off to the northwest of the big hail. that is here that, is $half, ping pong ball size. Maybe we'll get to golf ball size here too, mixed up in all that wind. So pretty serious storm here that's coming into western Warren County. And if it makes more of a jog to it's still doing that. It's trying to move more southeast. So, if it keeps doing that and it keeps its strength open, we really got to turn the alarm up at West Lebanon and, even Fountain. And again, we've been mentioning Covington as well, but we got to watch those areas because likely a long track of severe weather with this storm. I'm getting a lot of other reports of just a lot of thunder and lightning and rain over here in Carroll County. I've got some messages here of a lot of thunder and lightning in Miami County. It's just rain. There is a lot of thunder and lightning here, but it's just stratiform rain in this area. The atmosphere in that area has been worked over today. We've got wind damage in that zone, and it's been worked over. Same thing up here at Winamac and Rochester, where your severe weather threat is over. It's over in Deer Creek, it's over in Kokomo, it's over in Sheridan and Kirkland. In fact, I'll draw it out. You're done with severe weather if you are anywhere in this zone. Wherever I've got the X's, you don't have to worry about severe weather. You're in good shape. You're fine. If we're going to get severe weather elsewhere this evening, it'll be from this, and then way down here. This is starting to leave Vermilion County. You see the warnings down here. That's pushing away from our area. So now the attention is more towards here and here. Those are the two areas. And up here at Morocco and Mount Air, and I'll pull Chicago to get better view, this is a pretty heavy storm, pretty intense storm. Mount Air, Morocco, moving towards Goodland and Kentland, near Remington as well. Not the most organized storm, but the history of it has been, we had some gusts in northern Newton County to 40. We've probably got some hail in it. What I noticed is the uptick in the lightning, and we had a little hail core trying to load up in it. Let's see what we've got here. As this is going through Morocco, we'll see if our weather station there is updated. Let's see. Okay. So the peak gust there was 35. Okay. So the peak gust at the Lake Village Airport is 35. Morocco's 35. Roselawn's 40. Could there be a little stronger wind elsewhere? Yeah, perhaps where that hail core is, the biggest part of that hail, between Mount Air and Morocco, maybe up to 50. But a lot of lightning in it. We'll keep an eye on it. But so far, nothing truly severe. You consider severe in that storm, but that's still a pretty vigorous thunderstorm that's working southward. I haven't put any storm tracks out for a while, so we'll go ahead and do that. Moving at about 40 miles an hour. Still want to keep a close eye on that one. Let's see here. We'll go 40 and drop it south. Up. Let's try that again. There we go. There, no, third time's the charm. There. Wow. We'll try it again. Fourth time's the charm. There. There, we see if I can draw. There, I can draw properly. All right, so there it is, dropping southward. So Kentland 9 minutes, Goodland 13, Earl Park 17, Robb 14, Freeland Park 25, Boswell half an hour, Talbot 36 minutes, We've got a half an hour to Swanington, 32 minutes to Atkinson, Oxford 37 minutes, Wadena 19, Templeton 38, Chase 35 minutes to get to your location. Again, a gusty thunderstorm, little hail mixed in. We'll watch that one. I want to go back to that storm in Warren County now, and just starting to progress into Fountain County. Pull the Indy radar back up. There it is. Not as organized as it was, but still the vestiges of a pretty intense supercell that we had. Looked like we may have had two mesocyclones. We may have a ragged mesocyclone here, and this one may be a little more organized mesocyclone or wall cloud west of Pence. So awfully close here to our area. So we'll zoom in tighter, and this mesocyclone that may produce a tornado is 3.6 miles west of Pence, and then there could be a second one that is, let's go back here. The second one, which is probably more ragged, is closer to 4 miles northwest of Pence. And it is kind of turning a little more to the southeast. So we got to be ready for a tornado warning for Hedrick and Sloan, maybe Pence. We got to be ready for that soon. And if we're getting hail, it is occurring right now in that area. So if you have any hail reports from that area of Warren County, making sure I'm on the Indianapolis radar, trying not to be too herky-jerky with moving the radar around. Hedrick, Marshfield up to Pence. If you're getting any hail right now, the report is really valuable. Because if we're getting hail here, a lot of it's going to be quarter size or $half size or a little bit bigger than that from what we're seeing from a radar standpoint. And there could be some damaging gusts that are mixed up in that are exceeding 60 miles an hour, at least 60 miles an hour here from this storm. And the severe part of this storm, the wind and the hail part, is right here. So that part's your wind and hail. If we've got a rotating wall cloud, that's more out here, and there's probably a ragged one up here. So you've got the wind and the hail, and then where you got the check marks, that is the parts that are rotating in that particular storm. I'll go ahead and do a storm track on this one too, because I haven't done one in a while. And I believe the track is still 30 miles an hour. So we'll take it at 30. That seems good. Moving a little more southeastward with time. So I'm going to adjust my track just a little. And we'll take it right here. And we'll move it about like this. So Covington, 17 minutes. West Lebanon, just a few minutes away. Johnsonville, just a few minutes. Foster, close to you. We'll call it about 16 minutes, 15 minutes to your location. Romine Corner, 16 minutes. Layton, 21 minutes. Coal Creek, a half an hour to get there. And Perrysville, if it gets to your area or nearby, it's going to be about 26 minutes to get to your location as well. And that'd be a wind and a hail threat. So thank you, Clay, for that report. No hail yet. Jason, no hail. Currently at Hedrick, we will take that. We don't want crop damage. A lot of you have had a good year so far, and we don't want to do anything to strip any corn leaves, cause any yield loss. Let's keep the hail out. So let's hope that this hail, it has dropped its load. We don't want anybody else to have it, but hopefully it's dropped most of its load and we're in better shape. Certainly heavy rain here, a lot of thunder and lightning. Again, the wind is picking up. We're getting reports in Goodland, And if you're getting wind in any part of this area from Penns down to Marshfield, that is worth knowing about as well. Because we've been seeing the wind up in that storm. We're waiting to see, how much wind are we going to get down to the surface. So let's take... Okay, so the part that's rotating is probably just northeast of Bismarck from the precip standpoint on radar. Now, this is a little pixely from a radar standpoint, but our rotation is likely here. Again, we got to watch this because I think this could actually impact Johnsonville in Warren County. Rain picking up in Williamsport. Increasing thunder wind towards Cedar High School. Thank you, Cody, for that report. Extremely helpful. We got to really be careful here and watch Johnsonville and Foster in Warren County because it does appear that the rotating part of this storm may impact that area. It's not nearly as well defined as it was, but you've got a ragged mesocyclone here. You've got a little bit of a ragged mesocyclone here. And then you've got the heavy rain, the wind threat, and the hail threat here. And you got the hail threat here that may be severe hail. There's the Weather Service tag, up to ping pong ball sized hail. Gust 60, maybe better than that, possible from this storm. And then there's the warning on the Vermilion County side. Jason says hardly any wind west of Hedrick. We'll take it. Keep the wind. We don't want it. We don't want crops flattened. We don't want hail damage from this. So if it can come through with just a good, healthy rain, we'll take it for sure. I want to go back. I'm going to broaden out for you all real quick to show you what else is happening in the area. Again, the rest of the area, Deer Creek, Flora, Brookston, Tipton, Kokomo, rain, thunder, lightning. Rain, thunder, and lightning, Rockville, Crawfordsville, Newport. Just thunder, lightning, and rain. I'll tell you what, this storm north of Kentland has really picked up. That's a pretty intense storm near Brook. And we'll take some of the velocity data here. Got a wind core showing up on it. That's a Chicago radar. We may have a warning here soon for this guy. These are winds that are pulsing up in this storm. And we probably have some hail loading up, or if not hail falling down, a little pocket in this storm too. And right there it is. Yeah, that could be quarter-size hail in that storm. So we may very well have a warning that's issued for this one soon. Maybe it's something like this. We'll wait and see. A little polygon with 60 miles an hour and 1 inch hail. We'll wait and see about that. But that storm is starting. I mean, if it's not severe, it's looking like it is severe right now. So right there it is. Dropping southward, get ready in Goodland and Kentland and Brook and Forsman and just south of Ade, you're getting it right now. So we may have a warning very soon. I'm waiting on a warning for that storm. For gust of 60 and some hail up to quarter size. And that is all, near Brook? Let's look here. I'll take this one. Yeah, it's pretty close to Brook, north of Brook, and then the hail core is probably with that wind. Yeah, it's right near that area. So the hail and wind. Big old roll cloud north of Bauer Station. Thank you, Tam. That makes total sense. Yeah, we'll wait on a warning for that one. The warning continues down in western Warren County. I'll pull up the Indianapolis radar. I've got to toggle back and forth to get the best vantage point of each storm. So there it is. That thumb appendage is the rotation in that storm. Right there it is. That is now one mesocyclone with that thumb. That's headed for Johnsonville and this area right here. So get ready for wall cloud, and you may have to watch for funnel cloud. We'll wait and see if we can get this thing to tighten up for tornado risk here with this storm, because it's definitely rotation. It's a supercell. It's going to pass through that southwestern portion of Warren County. It's going to impact Foster and Johnsonville. And let's see what else we got here. State Line City area, it's going to pass. If we're getting hail and wind, it's going to be in that Hedrick to Marshfield area. That's what the radar shows. That's where it's most likely going to be. The tag from the Weather Service, gust to 60, and ping pong ball sized hail. We may even see this warning broadened out a little bit, because if it keeps turning a little more southeast, it's going to impact more and more of Fountain County. And we've got to watch that part that's rotating. That may very well prompt a tornado warning for southwest Warren and maybe Covington and far northern Vermilion. We got to wait and see, but there is definite rotation there. Just near Bismarck, Illinois. And still just cannot get a very good. Oh, there's the war. Okay, so they did extend the polygon. So Weather Service has broadened that polygon, that warning out. It now covers Covington, West Lebanon, Perrysville, Kingman. They've gone ahead and put it out for Petersburg as well. We got a wind core up in this storm. I will try to get a better look from Lincoln. It's just not great. Very pixely. And even from the Indy radar, it's just very pixely. Trying to get the best vantage point of this storm. Yeah. So we're just going to go back to the reflectivity. I can tell you that the best threat of a wind 60 or better is going to be here. Marshfield, Hedrick, and it's headed for Covington. Right in that zone. And then the rotating part is northeast of Bismarck. Right there. So the area that's got the wind and the hail risk is really here. If I could draw it out. Back here. So I'm going to put where the tornado risk is with the X's. Near Johnsonville, Foster, eventually north of Gessie, where we could have a tornado developing here. We're getting reports of power outages. Power outages in Warren County. I'll have to pull up some of the data from power companies. So 3 threats here. We still have the risk of some severe hail in the storm. We still have the threat of some gusts 60 to 70. We still have the risk of a tornado here, and that tornado risk is coming into far southwestern Warren County, right here. And that's why there's a tornado possible tag. But I'll tell you, given the appendage here on the end with this mesocyclone, we could be upgraded to a tornado warning. But the tornado possible tag, we've got hail maxing out at golf ball, and wind 60, maybe up to 70 miles an hour are possible, or is possible. And we'll watch this storm as it comes in. Weather stations southeast of Covington should be able to pick this up. So we'll see how high the wind gets here. And all these reports, so extremely important. We're extremely helpful here too. And one thing I always like to use is correlation coefficient. If we've got debris here, it will show up. The one thing about this, though, is the radar beam is pretty high in this area, whether you take Lincoln or you take Indianapolis. So if you've got an EF0 or EF1 tornado, there's no guarantee it's going to be pushing the debris up that high for the radar beam to detect it. But certainly, if we're going to have a tornado, it's going to be right here, and it's getting ever closer to Johnsonville. That's where the rotation is located, and you can see it very well. It's that thumb appendage with this supercell. Again, not as well formed as it was in Iroquois County in northern Vermilion, but this is the part that's rotating right here, and then this is the part that would tend to have any hail or wind associated with it right here. From Hedrick down to Marshfield and just north of Covington, and everything's working its way more southeastward. So that's why the severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag has been expanded eastward a little bit. Now might be a good time to just go ahead and put another storm track on it. We'll go back in here, draw this out. We'll do something like this, where some of the worst, exact time frame of some of the worst of it coming in. So Layton, 9 minutes. Covington, just a few minutes away. Veedersburg, 16. Mackay, 20. Coal Creek, it's about 20. Cates, 26 minutes. Harveysburg, 29. Kingman, 32 minutes. Woolly Corner, 33 minutes. And Centennial, 28 minutes to get to your location for a wind hail threat. And then let's go ahead and just track strictly the tornado risk part, the back edge there that's right on the state line that could produce a brief tornado, the part that's rotating. And we'll do this part right here. There it is. So this is the part that's rotating, and this is going to pass right through here most likely. So Foster, 12 minutes. Olin, 14 minutes. There's State Line City, just a few minutes away. Johnsonville, a few minutes away. Coal Creek, a half an hour. West side of Covington, it's about 15 minutes away as well. And Perrysville could be close to you. It'd be about 25 minutes from your location. That's the part that's rotating. That's the part that may have the tornado mixed up in it at any point. And we probably have a rotating wall cloud right there just west of Johnsonville right now. And if we've got any hail and wind with this, it's going to be east of that tornado. So that's what's going on with that storm. And again, the rotating part, the part that may produce a tornado at any time, is right here. West 450 South and State Line Road, and just off to the northwest of Johnsonville, and it's moving towards Johnsonville. It's moving southeastward towards South 875 West and West 750 South, those roads right there. And then your wind and hail risk is over here. Let's go back to the storm farther to the north. So we've got a pretty good storm that's up here in southern Newton County. And I'm going to pull the Chicago radar again. There it is. This is likely a hail-producing thunderstorm. That hail, for a while there, it looked like it probably had some quarter-size hail mixed up in it. We'll let this loop and watch it. Right there goes the supercell near Watseka. There it goes. You saw briefly, pretty good hail core with it. It's now near Goodland and Kentland. We may be getting some pea, marble, penny-sized hail, maybe up to nickels with that storm. And from a wind standpoint, a little wind core there. We'll see how high the wind gets around Kentland and Goodland. The wind core is here. A lot of cloud-to-ground lightning with that storm. It's dropping southward towards Earl Park and should pass near Wadena, Fowler, Sheffield as well. It's moving due south. and Robb too, and Freeland Park, Swanington area, Bars, all these areas will get in on this particular storm. Kind of surprised there's no warning on it. It looks like an intense storm. I would say we're getting some pretty intense gusts associated with it. And we've probably already had some decent hail with it. So we'll see what we're going to be getting. Kentland Jim is in Kentland spotting, and we'll see what the weather station reads there, his reads, the airport reads, and then what we get a readout on Goodland, southwest of Goodland. Again, a lot of questions about, in my email about Lafayette, West Lafayette. There's nothing brewing there now. There's thunder. We've got some rain and thunder east of you. The two areas of storms of concern, this one here, and we've got this one over here. This one, I would expect a warning soon. This one's already got a warning on it. This one's moving due south, and this one is moving southeast. So it's quite possible that we avoid most of the severe weather. I mean, we've had severe weather north and northeast and east of Lafayette today. We've had it, we're likely going to have some of this producing severe weather southwest of Lafayette and also northwest of Lafayette. But for now, my thought process has been if we're going to get any severe weather in greater Lafayette, it's going to be from this up here. And so far, it's all concentrated near Goodland, Kentland, west of Remington, and approaching Fowler and Earl Park. Not so much in greater Lafayette. And once this all goes through the back edge here, we're pretty much finished with the severe weather risk. I mean, it's 8:02 right now. I'm having questions here. Double check, Chad. Durning to my app, moving southeast. I don't know what storm you're referencing, Tyler. I know that this storm is moving south and this is moving southeast. So I don't know what you're asking me. But at any rate, this rain is moving southeastward. But storm here is moving southeast. This storm is moving due south. This is not moving southeast towards Lafayette. We may still get some rain out of it, but if we're going to see bigger severe weather, it's going to be west of Lafayette. So we'll go ahead and loop it to show you how things are moving. I'm going to cut this back 14. Okay. There it is. So there's the Brook, Morocco, Goodland storm moving due south. And there's the storm near Covington moving southeast. There's the rain and the thunder from Clinton County over to Kokomo. Oh, no worries, Tyler. I just want to make sure I'm answering everybody's question as best I can because I'm getting a lot of questions. No worries. Is Crawfordsville going to miss it? Well, if you're going to get anything out of this, it's going to be what's upstream. And then I got a question. I'm driving from Indy to West Lafayette. Is the path good? You're driving from Indy to West Lafayette. Well, if you're driving up here, so far, if you're going to get storms or rain, it's going to be from this. But this is probably going to be a severe storm moving south, and this one's moving southeast. So some showers and thunderstorms. But for now, if you want severe weather, you got to go west and southwest if you're in greater Lafayette, if you want severe weather. Is kind of the way it looks right now. So I want to go back to these storms, though, especially the one down here in Warren County. Let's segue back. It's 8:04 right now. There's the storm. It's not as organized as it was, which is a good thing. We don't want a tornado. We don't want damage. We don't want crop damage either. We don't want tree damage. So this is what we have. There's your warning up right now. The tornado possible tag. NWS has a golf ball size hail potential and a gust to 60 potential on this warning for southern Warren and the southwest half of Fountain County. Now, the part that would have the wind and the hail Again, your hail would be here, and then your wind would be mixed up in that hail, and it would probably be wind that looks something like that. So your hail and your wind would be here. This would be your wind, and then if you've got rotation or slash tornado, it's going to be here by Johnsonville. That's the part that's been rotating for a while. So it is now all towards Covington and south east of Johnsonville. The rotating part of that storm is south of Johnsonville right now. So that's kind of the general overview of that storm. If we're going to get a gust to 60 or 70, it's going to be right here. And if we're going to get a brief tornado spin up, it's going to be here. It's already south of Johnsonville. Right there's the state line. Everything's working to the southeast. So, and that's kind of where all the cloud to ground lightning is. So I would expect that would be where the wind, hail, and the rotation would be in that storm. And again, this is a tough area to track because you don't get that the radar is kind of pixely in this area. I want to make sure I'm on the Indy radar once again because it's just awfully pixely and you're trying to get a good view of it. So sometimes your best bet is just to use the reflectivity. Here's the hail tracker on it. It's still showing a large hail signature on it. That maybe we're getting quarter size hail here. I haven't had any hail reports. I haven't had any wind reports yet, but certainly from a radar standpoint, it looks like it. There'd be hail and damaging wind here, and there's the rotating part of that storm right there south of Johnsonville and just to the southeast of the state line. Again, moving southeastward towards Kingman and towards Marshall and Bloomingdale. But at least it's showing a sign of some weakening. But I'd still be ready for wind and hail in Covington and southeastward, and we still got to watch the rotating back end of that storm. Again, no warning on this storm, but it's a pretty vigorous one right up here in northern Benton County. So we'll pull Chicago, and I would say that we've definitely got hail in this storm, and the best chance of hail would be probably, I would think, northeast of Earl Park, southwest of Goodland. Probably Pease, Marbles. There's probably a small core here where we've got hail of nickel sized. But, if you're just east or just northeast of Earl Park, it's probably Pease and Dimes. Wadena, Pease. But between Earl Park and Wadena, probably along 55, I bet it's nickel sized hail up in this storm that's coming out. And you're probably getting a lot of gustiness out of it too. We've had a pretty persistent little wind core that's been strengthening on this storm, and that's dropping out of Goodland and passing near Earl Park, and it's dropping south. So we may have some gusts here, right in that pocket where that larger hail is, a 50 to 55. And again, we may still have a warning issued on this storm. Looks pretty vigorous from a radar standpoint here too. We'll wipe the precip data back on the screen. And of course, you got to watch the tail end. It's looking a little supercellular. Your wind and hail would be in this pocket here, but we probably have some gustiness and hail, at least small hail on the outer edges. Got to watch this part back here, southwest of Sheffield. Right in that zone for rotation, and that's headed for Freeland Park. The wind and hail report is moving towards Fowler and Barse. And we're, again, all moving southward with time. So I'd like to go ahead and actually put a track on this storm too. We'll do that. Even the part that may be rotating a little bit. Drop it south. Dunn 15 minutes, Dunnington 17 minutes, 22 minutes to Talbot, Ambia 27, Boswell 18, Chase 19. There's Atkinson for the worst of it at 19 minutes, Swanington 14, Fowler 8, Oxford 23, and Templeton 26 minutes. Hooker Corner 28, Pine Village half an hour, Rainsville 33, Briscoe 33 as well, and it's about 28 minutes. So the 26-41 intersection. Again, get ready for some pretty gusty winds, 50, 55 miles an hour, and some hail up to Nichols that may occur with this. Let's go back south. Storm continues to move in through Covington. We'll pull the Indianapolis radar data back on the screen. Still a hail risk here. I would say around Covington. Here is Highway 263, Interstate 74, and then here's, I believe this is 63, and here's 41. Let me remember my roads straight. Get those straight first. I'm recalling. Yeah, so this would be the 63-74 interchange. And South River Road, South Stringtown, there's South 600 West. There's 263 right here. And there's the hail core in this storm. So pretty close to that 63-74 interchange. P, dime, penny. We probably have some quarter-sized stones mixed in there. Right in the Covington area. Let me see here. Oh, we got pea-sized hail east of Earl Park. That was the storm we were just tracking. Hail southeast of Marshfield. Great report. Dime size. Thank you, Wade. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dave. We've got hail. There it is. We got hail 63 and 74. So that's that core nearby there. That's passing southward. Nickel-sized hail. Okay, so multiple reports here of hail around Covington and just to the southwest of Covington. Let's see, I've got, so far I've got peas, dimes, there's a penny, nickel. And these are all centered around Covington right now. So multiple hail. I haven't had a quarter-size hail report yet. If we've got any rotation, and we still could have some, it would be right around Foster. Right there. Not as organized as it was, but we still have the tornado possible tag on this warning. We'll wipe the velocity data back on the screen. And again, that rotation would be about right here, and then your hail would be over here. There could be some gustiness in that storm. So we'll go back here, rotation near Foster, hail, potential wind here in that storm. Dropping southeastward, Cates, Harveysburg, Kingman, Silverwood, Cold Creek, Perrysville, Flatiron. Again, Petersburg right on the edge. Steam Corner, eventually headed for Tangier in northern Park County. From a long-lived supercell that dates all the way back hours. I mean, this thing blew up northwest of Plainfield, Illinois, west suburbs of Chicago, long track, kind of cyclical HP supercell that likely has had tennis ball to baseball hail with it at times. At the very least, one tornado report in Iroquois County, Illinois. And that storm is currently just south and southeast of Covington, and it's got rotation and a ragged rotating wall cloud south of Foster. Right on the Warren Fountain County line, dropping southeastward. The other storm's still intense here in Benton County. Let's go to the Chicago radar. Right there it is. And we need to watch this one because this is likely where we've got hail and some wind developing here, but look at this appendage on the end. So this here, it would be where you've got rotation on the back edge of that storm. I would bet money there's a rotating wall cloud southwest of Earl Park right now. And I would bet money also that we've got the rotation. And sure enough, there it is. This is wind and hail. And this is the part that's got rotation on it. Really surprised we don't have a warning on this one for Benton County. Tremendous amount of cloud-to-ground lightning in that storm. Spotter not seeing rotation at Foster right now. That rotation's probably dropping more towards Perrysville as the storm is dropping southeastward. I'm getting reports now. Let me see. Let's go back. Yeah, I've got multiple hail reports coming out of just north of Fowler. I've got peas and pennies from that storm so far, and a lot of wind. So this is probably going to pass west of the weather station that we've got set up. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to pick up a good gust from it. I will look and see what we've got southwest of Goodland and what we've got in Kentland. Okay, Jim had a gust of 45 miles an hour at Kentland. And I don't know whether I can probably go to the Kentland airport and see what they've had as well if that date is up. All right. But that storm is pretty suspicious. Oh, so we did have a confirmed report of tennis ball sized hail earlier in Watseka, Illinois. I saw some golf ball reports there. Let's look here and see what we've had. Southwest of Goodland when that storm went through. Looks like the peak gust there is 41 southwest of Goodland. So when that went through there, it was 41. Jim had a 45 at Kentland. I still bet there are gusts 50 to 55 mixed up in this. Where that hail is right there and all that cloud-to-ground lightning. And again, this area here I'm suspicious of near Free in Freeland Park in Benton County. This has supercell characteristics to it. It's not the massive one that we saw in Iroquois County, but it's got the characteristics. It's acquiring them, to put it that way. And dropping southward. So I think we need to do a storm track on this one. We'll take this outer edge part of the storm and just drop everything south. It may weaken once it gets down towards Williamsport and Hedrick because that area has been worked over by the first supercell. But Oxford 12 minutes, Boswell 9, Chase 8, Talbot 16, Hooker Corner 17, Pine Village 19 minutes, Chatterton 26 minutes, Rainsville 22, Briscoe 23, Judyville 31, Carbondale a half an hour, Glencliff 37 minutes, 40 minutes to Attica, and Hedrick back to you in 41. Stewart 33, Pence 35 minutes to get to your location. And then I think it will weaken with time as it gets towards Covington. So that's a pretty intense storm. That one looks, there it is. There's the warning. So we now have a new severe thunder. Waiting on that warning to be issued. It's like, please issue the warning. Because you know it's severe. Okay, so warning is up for Benton County and Warren and Northern Fountain County for that storm now with a, it doesn't have a tornado possible tag, but let's just consider a tornado possible tag on that storm, given that rotation that's in western Benton County now. So 1-inch diameter hail, gusts 60 miles an hour, possible in Benton County and working southward into Warren and northern Fountain County. So that's the Second supercell dropping south. The other one is now in southern Fountain County, moving towards Park County. It seems to have, it's still got rotation on it. It seems like it's weakening just a hair bit more, but we're still likely getting hail out of it and some wind here, probably right in this zone. And actually, it's going through a good area because it's got a weather station here that's going to pick up the wind. There's the part that's rotating just northwest of Perrysville. Now, this does have a tornado possible tag on it. So that area, we've got to watch for that rotation to tighten up or crank out a tornado at any time. And so that rotation is going to be out this way, dropping southeastward, headed for Cold Creek. Again, your wind area is going to be down here. So you get the wind, and here, if we got a brief tornado, it's going to occur there. We see that was a good blast of thunder, made me jump. It's going to be on the west side of that supercell. And everything, again, is moving southeastward towards Kingman and Silverwood, Cates, and Tangier in northern Park County. Hail is still likely showing up in this as well. We've had multiple reports of hail around Covington. Nothing that's, of all things reported, I haven't had anything that's been quarter size yet. I bet there has been, just haven't gotten any reports or spotters in the right place. They've all been peas, dimes, nickels, marbles, things like that, sizes like that. But we're still getting hail with this storm south of Covington right now. And again, like I just showed you, we're still getting the rotation that is near Perrysville and near Cold Creek. Go back. Let's see, I do want to see what kind of wind we've had so far with this storm. I don't think the data is updated yet because from what I'm gleaning here, the wind is still from the south. Okay, it has just turned to the northwest at 14 miles an hour. So, okay. We're not getting big wind there yet. We'll keep an eye on that. But we know it more than likely we're getting hail there from that storm. And still watching that rotation near Cold Creek and Perrysville too. And the tornado possible tag is on it. There's the other big storm that's brewing here in Benton County. This is becoming the main storm. As it gets closer to Warren County, I'm going to use the Indianapolis radar, but we'll use Chicago right now. There's your hail core just to the west and southwest of Fowler. And right there it is. We likely have hail that's severe hail. This is probably quarter size and maybe getting bigger. Got to watch for wind mixed up in this storm here. And the rotating part has been back here, right in this zone. It's not tight rotation. It looks as almost as if the rear flank downdraft is wrapping an awful lot around the center. So you've got your forward flank downdraft here and the hail mixed up here. The wind's wrapping around this part, and here's your area of rotation in that storm. So it may be that the rotation was trying to tighten and form a tornado, and now it's becoming dominated by the RFD, the rear flank downdraft that's wrapping around it. And we'll wait and see what that does to it. Sometimes it'll choke off that rotation, but then it may recycle and start to rotate again. So we'll wait and see, but there's rotation there, but there's also rain and wind wrapping around it that may briefly choke it off, and then it's got to reorganize and recycle again. But boy, a lot of lightning here. We're getting reports of hail. Fowler Ridge, 200 south, and US 41. And right there is US 41. and this is just west of Fowler. I would bet money we've got quarter-size stones here. They may get bigger. This is got supercell characteristics to it. It's dropping southward, and this was actually the area of storms that I was more thinking if we're going to get severe weather in Greater Lafayette, it's going to be from this. But it looks like it is still moving kind of due south. Let's go back. There it's moving due south, still kind of moving due south. So we may maybe getting the thunder and lightning in Lafayette, or hearing it and seeing the lightning and hearing the thunder, that is. But it's still moving due south. If it would turn southeast, we'd have a shot at it. To some of this rain coming to Lafayette, but it's mainly just moving right, just barreling towards Boswell and Oxford. So this is a nasty storm that's coming in, and there it is. It's booking it. It looks like it's becoming more and more wind dominated right here. The rotation's still up here, albeit rain wrapped, and then you've got the hail, which is here. It's going to be moving into Chase and should pass pretty close to Boswell. This is likely severe hail that's at least 1 inch in diameter, but it may not necessarily be a lot of 1 inch or half-dollar size hail. It may very well be a mix of a lot of peas and marbles, and you get a lot of different sizes, and maybe you have some max hailstones that are quarter to maybe half-dollar size. But it's all moving due south. So you got to get ready here in northern Warren County. So I'm going to do another storm track on this one as this pretty intense storm moves southward. We'll track some of the heaviest part of it as best we can and move it. I'm going to just skew it a hair south-southeast to account for any sort of southeastward wobble to it. So Hooker Corner, 6 minutes. Pine Village, 10. Briscoe, 12. Rainsville, 11. Chatterton, 16 minutes. Winthrop, 20 minutes. Banning Corner, 25. Independence, 28. Kramer, 22 minutes. Williamsport, 29. Attica, 29. Glencliff, 26. Carbondale, 19. Judyville, Sycamore Corner, and Stewart, about 20 to 24 minutes away. And it'll keep moving southward, but once it encounters the air that's been overturned by the first supercell, it may start to weaken. Once you get into northern, more southern Warren, and then especially into central Fountain County, that may happen. The other supercell is out in front of it near Kingman. Right there it is. It's still got those supercell characteristics. Still got that part that's rotating on it. Still has likely hail and some wind in it. That hail and wind would be right here, right over Cates, and just to the southeast of Coal Creek. There's your rotation, very close to Coal Creek. We'll take another x-ray of that storm. Again, we still have the tornado possible tag on it. Hail could be peas, marbles, nickels, maybe up to quarter size. Still wouldn't rule out a random gust to 60 miles an hour. There is your rotation. Right there, west of Coal Creek. So it's going to be right here where your rotation is located. And then you get your wind and hail all moving southeastward towards northern Park County. So all moving in this direction. I'll do another storm track for our friends in Park County. I'll do the wind and the hail first. Then we'll do the rotating part of that storm real quick. So we'll take this part here, work it into Park County. Rockville, 28. Bloomingdale, 18 minutes. Marshall, 19. Judson, 26. Belmore, 34. Sylvania, 6 minutes. Let's do the part that's rotating now. Right here. And we'll take that part here. So this is the part that may produce a brief tornado. Howard, 12 minutes. Lodi, just a few minutes away. We've got Armingsburg, about a half an hour, and just west of Coloma, it's about a half an hour away, and West Union, 23 minutes away. So that's the first supercell that's been long lasting. Let's go back to the Benton County supercell, which looks intense. And we really have two supercells kind of merging together here. And it appears to be recycling and getting itself back together. I've got a question here. Is it going to hit Otterburn from Angela? And the worst of it's going to pass west of Otterburn. You're going to get rain and thunder and lightning. But for now, the worst of it is it's certainly south of Fowler, southwest of Fowler, Boswell, Chase area, and then headed for a Hooker Corner. And it almost appears like there was one part of the storm that was rotating up here. And then the forward flank downdraft took over, the rear flank downdraft took over, and these are the forward flank downdrafts. It's almost like we've got, let me loop this again. Yeah, you've got two parts of this storm that are trying to rotate now. So this is kind of wind driven here. Here's your hail. Here's your part that's trying to rotate, but you've got also a new part of this storm trying to organize, kind of a sickle shape. We may see hail form here with wind, and we got to watch this appendage just to the northwest of Kramer too. I remember covering a supercell back in Evansville in 2017. Actually, it was in Posey County. So we had two supercells that merged that actually formed one main just monster supercell. It did produce an EF3 tornado. We don't have those conditions for EF3 tornadoes tonight, but we do have conditions that are there for the wind, hail, and an EF0 to EF1 tornado. So we got to watch this one. If these two kind of merge together and we have a brief time where we have one main supercell in northern Warren County, we may see a brief window where that tornado risk really goes up for a time. Again, this is moving due south. It is not moving towards West Point. It's not moving towards Otterburn. It's not moving towards West Lafayette. It's not moving towards Lafayette or Battleground or Dayton or Clarksville or Rossville. It's not moving in towards any of those areas. This is a Warren County storm and a Benton County storm, what we're dealing with here, with hail, wind, and brief tornado threat as it moves due south right now. And the worst of it, again, is south of Fowler, all the way down to just north of Carbondale, right through Rainsville, Briscoe, Hooker Corner, Chase, Boswell, Oxford, and just southwest of Atkinson. If this cell is moving due south, is it right over Boswell? According to asking Harry, it's approaching right now. If you look at the radar here, you can see right here is the heaviest part of it. The worst is right here, west of Oxford, and here's Boswell. The worst part is located between Boswell and Oxford. So it's right here. So it's kind of in between. So it won't touch Attica. I can show you again. If we broaden out here, Attica is in the severe thunderstorm warning. So you are in the warning in Attica for this storm. And these are the storms we've been watching that may impact areas like Greater Lafayette, like Attica, like Pine Village, and whatnot. So yes, this will impact Attica. And it will impact Talbot. I mean, it is right now. So it's impacting those areas. So yes, it will impact Attica. It will impact West Lebanon. It will impact Judyville. It will impact Five Points, Glencliff, Independence, Hedrick, Marshfield, Stewart. Eventually it's going to weaken because it's going to move into an area that's been worked over by the first supercell, which is now in northern Park County. But right now, that's where it is. And if you see the direction it's moving, again, here's the storm. I can outline it. Right here it is. And if it's moving due south, again, if you live anywhere down here, I mean, it's going to impact you. Is state line in the line? Again, all these areas, if it's moving due south, it will impact all of these areas, all throughout Warren County, and then throughout northern Fountain County. It's all moving due south. And then once it gets into central Fountain County, far southern Warren, central Fountain, it should weaken because it will be ingesting rain-cooled air. It should start to see a decreasing trend. But right now, it's really pulsing up. It's a pretty intense storm. North of Kramer, Hooker Corner, Rainsville, Briscoe, Chase, Boswell, Talbot, Ambia, and Oxford. Again, I want to go back to I don't want to forget our friends in the south. This particular storm is moving southeastward. It has shown a weakening trend. We'll pull up the Indianapolis radar here. But what's interesting to me is it still is rotating. It still is. It's gotten smaller. It has weakened. Now there's a small hail core here around Kingman. We may have P's and dimes coming out of it and some gustiness. But that part right there near Silverwood, it's still likely got a wall cloud on it. This thing has been rotating and putting out wall clouds and likely only funnels at least one tornado, perhaps more than that, for hours now. And the rotating part of that storm is right there just to the southeast of Silverwood. Right there's your rotating part of that storm. Just west of Tangier still could put out a brief tornado anytime. And some of your wind and hail would be over here. Still dropping southeastward. So Bloomingdale, Rockville, Marshall, West Union. Again, the rotation's moving this way. There it is. And there it's moving southeastward. So I would still be ready you got to watch out for a brief tornado from this. It's been that way for hours now, but you got to watch out for that. We may still have a warning issued for Park County. Let's go back north. Okay, so we got to focus on this Warren-Benton County storm that we've got. Again, the rest of the area, not much going on. The rain is winding down. This is the last of it, even if we look to the north. So let's broaden out and look northward. There's not a whole lot going on up here. We got a couple little spotty showers and storms. I think for the night, the severe weather risk is over. Now, could we get a couple showers and storms overnight? Absolutely. The front's still north of the area. That's the main front. And that's once that main front goes through, the lower dew points come in tomorrow. But for now, the severe weather risk, if you will, is tied up in these two supercells that we've got in the forecast area. And I'm going to put a storm track on this storm that's in southern Benton and northern and central Warren County, with it moving, I believe the speed was 35 miles an hour. Okay. And there's the potential of $50 size hail, gust to 60. Again, still would have a tornado possible tag on it. I think it could put out a brief tornado anytime. Same thing with the storm down here in northern Park County. So let's track this one. I think I've got 30 miles an hour. Let's do 35. And we'll do something like this. Track it in this way and then move it due south. So here we are. Here are the times of arrival. So Williamsport, 8 minutes. Attica, it's just starting to come in. It'll be about 9 minutes for some of the heavier stuff to come in. West Lebanon, 13. Now Hedrick, 19 minutes. Stewart, 16. Pence, 20. Marshfield, 19. Fountain, 16. Rob Roy, 15 minutes. Aylesworth, 19 minutes. Newtown, 22 minutes. Riverside, It's about 10 minutes away. Stone Bluff 22, Graham 25, Malott 26, Covington 28, Foster 30, Vedersburg half an hour, Hillsboro 32 minutes, Steam Corner 38. It's actually still storming in Cold Creek, but you got another storm coming in about 40 minutes. Perrysville about 40 minutes, and finally Harveysburg 44 minutes. Now, again, like I've been saying, as this big storm comes into, once it gets farther south, it's got a lot of cooler air to ingest. So it still may weaken, but you're still going to get a storm down here in Fountain County. But the worst of it is certainly right now in Warren County. And the worst of that storm is Briscoe, Rainsville, Hooker Corner, north of Carbondale, and it's south east of Ambia and just to the south west of Oxford. So what's the threat here? Well, when we look at our velocity product, which is pixely because you're right on the edge of radar range, there's a wind threat here. At any point in this, we could have a wind gust of more than 60 miles an hour that's released. We see the wind energy up in that storm. We know it could be released at absolutely any time. And it's right where that abundance of cloud-to-ground lightning is located. Looking at the hail, we know that there's a hail core here, and some of this hail could be up to $half size. And that $half sized hail could accompany those winds that are at or exceed 60 miles an hour. But there's another facet to this storm. The back edge, I've been watching this back edge trying to cycle out rotation. We've seen two areas of probably ragged wall clouds on the back end of it. And it looks like we've got one trying to go again south of Talbot. So once again, you've got the wind and hail here. And then back here, we've got rotation that's trying to form on the back end. And when we take the velocity, the wind velocity product here, and I think I'm using, we'll pull Indianapolis to try to get a better vantage point. That's a better vantage point from this angle. So hail and wind, that bright red is wind at any point, gust 60 plus. And back here, you've got that rotation that's occurring south of Talbot. So it's another round of rotation is coming back into Warren County. And it's getting later. You're not going to be able to see it as well. We may have a wall cloud that's trying to form here too. So that's moving southward. Everything's moving due south. The wind and the hail and that rotation is all moving due south, right, as we speak, as this large supercell progresses in that direction. It's not extremely organized, but it's still a vigorous storm. I mean, you've got the wind and the hail here. Your rotation is back here. And what's interesting is around this wall cloud, you may even have some hailstones wrapping around. I've seen that before. You get a really strong, you'll see a strengthening mesocyclone, and if the stones are strong enough, or if the rotation begins to strengthen, the stones are close enough, that is, some of the hail will wrap around the center. I looked back at a case in Gibson County back in 1890, and after the tornado had hit, it started hailing softballs and grapefruits because the hail had wrapped around the center of that storm. Now, we don't have a situation like this. That was like an EF4 tornado. That was really significant. But in this case, you may have some quarter-sized stones being flung back south of Talbot and wrapping around a wall cloud. And there's a lot of rain wrapped in it as well. So that is where we stand as of 8:44. We still have the warning for Warren County. The warning has been canceled for Benton County. The good news is for Benton County, that the worst of the storm is out of your area. This is strictly a Warren County storm now. Now, it's still noisy as all get out in parts of Benton County with thunder and lightning, and it's still pouring and gusty, but the worst of that storm is now in Warren County, northern part of Warren County. Okay, I'm letting some of my data update here because ideally you want these storms to pass over weather stations so you can get a really nice measurement of what's going on. But we haven't really had that tonight. Other than, the Covington storm, it looked like it was passing awfully close to that station. The highest gust we had was 27 miles an hour from that storm. So it just may have been a narrow miss, but at any rate, that was the gust at that site in particular. Now that storm is weakening. Now it's still got a nice supercell kind of structure to it, but it is weakening. It's moving right through the heart now of, I would say north central Park County. It's moving towards the heart of Park County at Rockville. Heavy rain, a little bit of small hail, some gustiness too. The part that's been rotating, it's not as well formed as it has been. Let's go back here. Yeah, not nearly as intense as it was. This was really tightening up at times, but it's not really showing up very well anymore. That's the good news. But it's moving towards Niceville, Marshall, Bloomingdale, and Rockville. So we're getting that storm out of the way. Here's the main one. If we broaden this screen out a little bit, that's it. This is it for the severe weather for the night. It's the Warren County storm. And the only thing it's doing for Tippecanoe County is we've got some thunder and lightning, and you've got some rain in the western part of the county, and that's it. We'll wait and see if we get a little bit more of this rain into Greater Lafayette. But the heaviest it is just central Warren County. Wind and hail and very heavy rain coming in right now. And you talk about a light show tonight. Boswell, Chase, south of Fowler, Talbot, all the way through Briscoe and Carbondale and Judyville and Rainsville. It is crashing and rumbling and thundering like so much, and you're getting just constant lightning from this storm. And we still have hail risk in it. Right there it is. I would bet money we're still getting hail out of this storm. It's probably varying from peas and marbles to quarters and half dollars. I would bet money on that one. Right here near Briscoe and Rainsville. Definitely. Right there it is. Rocky Ford area, which got hit with a microburst, more than a week ago? Wind's probably 70 miles an hour. We get another intense storm moving through that area. And still may have a gust to 60 miles an hour or 60 plus that is belched out of this thing at any time. So we'll take this back on the screen. Again, there's your warning. There's your wind, south of Hooker Corner, Briscoe, Rainsville. We're still seeing rotation in that storm, but the rotation is not overly strong. It's just northwest of Judyville. Probably a little wind and hail wrapping around that wall cloud as well. And keep in mind, everything's moving due south. And the warning continues for another 11 minutes. It's probably going to be reissued once again. So we'll take another storm track here. We'll move it down here. So here we are. It's closing in on Judyville, Stewart, Pence, Hedrick 15 minutes, West Lebanon about 10 minutes, Williamsport 8 minutes. It's storming in Attica, but the worst is still is still off to the north. I just got a message that we have no audio on Facebook. Let me see here. I'm not seeing anyone. And big thanks to Chris for that. Let's see here. I want to troubleshoot and make sure we are still getting audio. I'm getting audio levels here. But if you cannot hear me, or if you can't, okay, you can hear me. Jen, you can hear me. Okay. So maybe an individual computer, I wonder. But big thanks to Chris for that. Anytime you notice anything like that, please let me know. This is really helpful. Really, really helpful. So you can still hear me. Okay. I just always want to troubleshoot, make sure you can all hear me. Okay. So let's kind of segue back here. And thanks to everyone for letting me know that you can hear me. So here we are. I'm resetting my brain here for a sec. It's 8:50. The last severe storm of the night is in Warren County right now. It's a hail and a wind threat. It is rotating on the back end of it. The National Weather Service has potential of hail up to a ping pong ball size and a gust of 60. And I would say that kind of hail is right here. Rainsville, Carbondale. Some of the hail is trying to wrap around where we've got a wall cloud trying to develop, where it's trying to rotate. And that rotation is back in here. And it's trying to pull some of the rain and the hailstones around the center of it, actually. And that's near Judyville and Sycamore Corner. Now, within that hail near Rainsville and Briscoe and Carbondale, at any point you may have a gust of 60 or better in it. And this is all continuing to move southward. I still think once it gets far enough south, it will ingest rain-cooled air and will probably start to weaken. But at least for now, it's holding its own. There's probably some warm air advection that's starting to feed it. What I mean by that is, yes, it's stormed out here, but there is so much heat out here in Illinois. And from what I see, look here, the winds, I want to look at the winds out here in eastern Illinois. Yeah, it's still 86 degrees at Bloomington, Illinois. It's still pushing 80 at Danville, Illinois. And our winds, at least down here, are southerly. They're a little more southeasterly back here. I'm trying to get a... And then they're actually southerly up here. And they're southerly, the Purdue, I'm not getting any data from the Purdue airport, but I know the Frankfurt airport's got a south wind. Crawfordsville has a south wind. Yeah, Samantha says it's warming up in Attica. So we have some warm air advection going on, and that's actually probably what's feeding this thing a little bit. So, it's holding its own. This is still a vigorous storm. We're going to have a new warning issued, I would say, soon, because the warning only goes for another 7 minutes. And to me, it looks like this thing has slowed down. It's almost like it's trying to reorganize itself. It's still a supercell, albeit a ragged, not overly organized supercell. You still got the rotation back here. You still have the wind and the hail back over here. And it's going to keep moving towards Fountain and Williamsport and Attica and West Lebanon. So let's go ahead and track the... I am going to slow down the speed of it down to 30. And let's just keep moving this thing southward. So we'll take... I'm going to go ahead and just try to just pull this part here. Again, it's already storming around Williamsport, but let's get into some of the rougher stuff in the storm. Drop it south, and it's storming in Williamsport now, but the more intense stuff is in 10 minutes. Attica, it's storming now, but the rough stuff, the worst of it's been just kind of resting northwest of you. And if I put a storm track on that, 30 miles an hour, it puts it there in 14 minutes. Marshfield 14, Hedrick 13, Johnsonville 18, Fountain 15, Stone Bluff 25, Foster 27 minutes. Wind, hail. The part that's rotating is pretty close to Judyville. We'll wipe the wind data on the screen. Take that off, and right there is, I'm going to toggle back a little bit, back and forth. We'll subtract the forward speed, and your wind is, and there's the new warning that just came out. So a brand new warning is out. There's your wind. Again, 60 or 70 at any point. The rotation is a little bit diffuse right now, but it is right here. Right on the back end of that storm, just to the southwest of Judyville. And dropping south towards Marshfield, and will pass pretty close to West Lebanon. And then the damaging wind and the hail, it's going to be Williamsport, Fountain, going to be close to Attica as well. And there's your new warning. Again, 49 minutes. This goes all the way down into central Fountain County. Hail up to ping pong ball size. Gusts 60, perhaps as high as 70 miles an hour with it. Again, we still see the wind in that storm. We still see the rotation in that storm. We still see the hail that's mixed up in it too, right there. That may be up to ping pong ball size. And everything's moving due south. Right here. So right there we are with the hail. We'll go back to the reflectivity, and the intense hail is really close to Rocky Ford and just northwest of Kramer and north of 5 Points. And there's the new radar updating. It's leaving Rocky Ford, it's near Kramer, and it's just to the east of Carbondale. The part that's rotating is again, it's not the best rotation, but it's there. It's south of Judyville and just north of West Lebanon. And if we're going to get a gust 60 or 70, it's going to be with this hail and very heavy rain around Kramer, Carbondale, and not far from Attica either. And yes, some of the hail and rain is wrapping around this part that is indeed rotating not far from West Lebanon. And once again, as of 9 o'clock, top of the hour, a weakening storm down here north of Rockville, little pea hail, gust of 40. We're not worried about that storm so much, but it does have some decent cloud-to-ground lightning. It's moving southeast into Rockville. This is the main storm of the evening. There are no other storms in our area. The only thing we're getting in Greater Lafayette, or really Tippecanoe County for that matter, is some rain and a thunder and lightning show. When we look northward, we do have a few storms up here closer to the actual cold front. And the actual cold front is near Grand Rapids, Michigan, and north of Rockford. So it's possible overnight we may have a few random spotty storms around, but nothing severe. It does not look to be the case. Debbie is telling me at Rainsville, it sounds like rocks are hitting her house. Definite hail falling at Rainsville right now. South of Rainsville, south of Rocky Ford, near Kramer, that's your hail core, up to ping pong ball size. And the risk of a damaging wind gust 50 to 60. This is the main storm that we're tracking right now as of 9 o'clock. Moving south. And, you know, my thinking has been, as this goes southward, well, it's got to encounter rain-cooled air and start to weaken once it gets to like Covington, Newtown, and Petersburg and Foster. I will tell you that, Danville's pushing 80 right now. And it appears that there is warm air advection going on. This is all rain-cooled down here, but the Vermilion County Airport's back to 80 degree, back to near 80 degrees. So you've got some warmer air that's trying to come back in. I mean, here in Illinois, temperatures are still in the upper 80s in central Illinois. It is so warm out here. I was going to look at some of these highs today. I mean, we were on the edge of this really intense heat. And yeah, we had mid-90s here in central Illinois, and I'm pretty sure that some of these heat indices were just extreme. Look, there is so much instability in central Illinois. I mean, it is boiling. Yeah, it's 89 still at Lincoln, Illinois. And the heat index was 114 today. It was in the mid-90s with dew points up around 81. So just extreme heat and instability here. And you go out to like upper 90s at St. Louis, upper 90s in western Illinois. But these were upper 90s that had dew points in the low 80s. So your heat index was just incredible out here, up around 120 in parts of Illinois. So we are loaded with instability in Illinois. What we don't want is that really boiling instability to come in tonight and produce any more severe weather. I don't think that's going to happen. But that instability is probably feeding this supercell. We've got 3 broken windows in the power outlet in Carbondale in Warren County. So now we've got hail that's broken windows, or the wind with the hail has broken windows in Carbondale, which Carbondale is right, you see where it is there? That is your intense hail core right there. And you hate hearing that because there are probably other windows broken. We probably have some shingles ripped on some houses. And there's crop damage out here from that kind of hail. If you've got windows broken, we know we've got some leaves stripped and we've got some crop damage from Rocky Ford and Rainsville southward towards Carbondale, west of Kramer. This is coming right into 5 Points. Got to watch Williamsport, but this is a heck of a hail core coming in. And we still may have a gust 60 to 70. If you have quarter and ping pong ball sized stones and the wind is gusting 60 to 70, you may get some dents in your car, break a few windows. And we still see that hail right there, and we still see the damaging wind in that pocket. 5 Points, Carbondale area. The rotation it's there, but it's not, it's fairly weak, but it's there. There's still some there, just right around West Lebanon. So once again, the hail and the wind are here coming in. You've got some of that hail wrapping around an area of rotation near West Lebanon. And once again, this is dropping south. So get ready for the hail and the wind at 5 Points, Kramer, and even Williamsport. We got to watch Attica. It's already storming there now. Is that a tornado or is it just spinning? Looks like it's likely just rotating right now, but we've got to watch it. If this thing tightens up, we could have a brief EF0, EF1 at any time. Golf ball hail is being reported right now. It says golf ball, let's see, south of Pine Village. Okay, north of Kramer. let me see here, south of Pine Village and north of Kramer. So it's probably, it may be up this way, they've got pea hail. So golf balls in Marshfield. So Marshfield is going to be here. You can see Marshfield. We had some hail there earlier. If we've got golf balls here, it's probably just off to the northeast of Marshfield. And then if we've got golf balls here, they're probably just to the west of Kramer. So like I said, in this part that's rotating near West Lebanon, we may have some of these larger stones pivoting around the mesocyclone. So this is an impressive storm, an impressive supercell here in Warren County tonight. We have yet to see the rotation really tighten up enough to say, wow, this is a tornado on the ground. But we've had very persistent rotation with this thing for a while. And it started rotating way up towards northern Benton County, even on the Newton County line. And it's made it all the way down here into, now it's approaching, well, it's getting into northwest Fountain County. And the worst part is coming into Williamsport, Kramer, and Five Points right now with a wind and a hail threat. There is some hail threat between Marshfield and West Lebanon. The rotation is likely just south or southeast of West Lebanon right now. Again, dropping southward. I have yet to see this thing deviate from a southward track. Only occasionally will it wobble very slightly to the southeast, very slightly, and then it kind of pulls itself back. But it's just due south. And it's been a long track. I mean, this thing has been tracking all the way since Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where all this kind of started. Went through Crown Point, went from being linear to supercellular, and it's been moving due south for hours now. And the storm that went through Kingman in Covington and Marshfield it's been on a long track, but it's weakening, still weakening over Rockville. But the main storm now is this one right over northwest Fountain and central Warren County, south central Warren County right now. So here we are as of 9:07. It's been a pretty long day. I think we started with these storms at what? I feel like it was 2 or something, or maybe it was just after 1. And we had one main round, and then we had some storms kind of flirting with us, and then we've had really 3 main storms impact us this evening, and they've all been in the west. So our north and northeastern and eastern counties have been hit. Our western counties have been hit, but really, if Chalmers, Reynolds, down through Greater Lafayette and Crawfordsville, you have not had much at all. The real heart of the area, we don't have it. So, given all that, this is the only main severe storm we got left really for the night. Now, we may have a few showers and storms overnight, but we don't, we just don't have the severe weather risk. This supercell, though, albeit a little bit ragged, is still doing its thing right now. And I don't mean to keep zooming in and out. I'm making sure that we've got the proper radar data. This is out of Indianapolis. We want to give the best angle here. So this is where we are right now. And the worst of this storm is 5 Points, Williamsport, and south of Kramer, and just northwest of Rob Roy. We're getting the storm in Attica right now. We're getting the storm in Glencliff, as well as Old Town and the West Lebanon area, and it's approaching Fountain. And this part of the storm is where the wind is, where the hail is. Now, the largest hail is right here, especially near 5 Points. That's probably ping pong to golf ball size. Some of that hail is pivoting around, still an apparent ragged mesocyclone that is now northwest of Fountain. We still have rotation there, but it's still just not putting out a tornado. And that's good. We don't want a tornado here. You can still see that wind. And the hard part about this is we know the highest wind is where the largest hail is. So it's not good for crops, not good for roofs. We've already had 3 windows busted out by hail near Carbondale, which is just northwest of 5 Points. And then the part that's been rotating, albeit weak now, a little bit of a donut hole here near Fountain and Old Town. It's not the best rotation. It's pretty diffuse, but it's there. A little bit of a donut hole that we're seeing. But this is a really intense area of wind that could come out of this storm at any time. 60, 70 miles an hour. And you may have hail again. It'll be larger. Some of these stones are going to be larger than quarters that come out of this. We've already had golf ball hail reported. We've got heavy rain and wind from Jacqueline at West Lebanon. Heavy lightning in Petersburg. Why isn't the map showing Attica? We've got Attica right up there on the map right now. We're tracking it right into Attica right now. State line getting dark. No worries about the all caps, Clay. No, that's perfect. Any of these reports, put those in caps so I can see them. No, that's perfect. But Nicole saying the sky was black over Williamsport. Definitely, very intense storm moving into your area right now. Now it's getting dark outside, so you're not going to be able to see the rotation or see some of the elements in the storm. So that, I can still see some daylight out there from my vantage point, but it's going to be getting darker here with time. And you don't want a storm that's going tornadic at night, and you don't necessarily want 70-mile-per-hour winds at nights. That adds a whole other element. But I'm still thinking, unless we can get more warm air advection in here, and again, I think that's what's been supporting this for a longer period of time, with it being, near 80 degrees at the Vermilion County Airport, feeding this thing. I do think it is going to start to weaken. I think it's going to start to weaken as it gets closer to Covington and Petersburg. There is rain-cooled air and the atmosphere has been overturned there. So I still think, I don't know whether the warm air advection is going to be intense enough to sustain this thing at this strength, despite the shear all the way down to Kingman and Perrysville and Rockville and Waynetown. We should see a weakening fairly soon, but it's holding its own right now. And we still have the biggest part of the hail core. The most intense hail core is right here. And this is going to be just west of Williamsport. Now, we may have small hail, perhaps all the way around through here. But the biggest is here, right where that X is. And it's centered right there, South Meridian Road, just to the northwest of South Grant Street. And it is northwest of the Badlands Off-Road Park. It's going to miss Harrison Hills Golf Course, though you're maybe getting a little small hail, and you've got a vigorous thunderstorm going on over Attica right now with probably a good amount of wind too. But that's the biggest part of the hail. And this is going to pass south of East 400 south. Power lines down on Division Road at 550 West in Warren County. So we're starting to get some wind damage here. And I would suspect there is more wind damage out in this area. And I suspect there's crop damage from the wind and the hail. Anywhere from Rainsville through 5 Points, Kramer, west of Williamsport, perhaps Hooker Corner, then all the way into Benton County. Thank you, Wade, for that report. Really helpful. The rotation is weakening from what I'm seeing in this storm. It's still got wind and hail with it. But the rotation is not quite what it was. It looks weaker. It's starting to greatly diminish. And this may be a sign that we're just starting to see the strength begin to come down. Still a lot of wind, though, west of Williamsport. But I'm seeing that the rotation is pretty diffuse. But it's this area right here that's really just, that is some strong wind. And, you know, you combine that with hail, and unfortunately, you know, we're going to have crop damage out here. We've probably got more trees and power lines down here. I can probably I can look up these power outages. Again, 9:15 right now, still tracking this very persistent supercell that has shown the very first signs that it's starting to weaken a little from a rotation standpoint. But it's still producing, there's still strong evidence that it's producing high wind. That's at least 60 miles an hour and still producing hail that may be severe, and which would be 1 inch in diameter. Let's see. So from what I can view, we really, from a Duke Energy standpoint, we don't have a lot of outages. There are a few outages just west of Williamsport. That's where we've got some outages right now. Yeah, and even Titmont. It was really good. They put their outage map up. It's really easy to access. We don't really have any big weather-related outages. Now, it kind of is out of that area where the worst of the storms are passing, though. Let's look here. All right. Still looking here. Okay. Yeah, because I am getting reports that there are some power outages in northern Warren County. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, the greatest amount of outages in our region are, it's in Vermilion County, Illinois. There's some in Iroquois County. We've got some in Warren County. Though we still have, okay, I'm getting data here. Okay, we have almost 1,300 households without power in Warren County. And nearly 500 actually in Vermilion County. We've got outages in Benton County. A lot of the power has been restored in our north, thankfully. Still have a few isolated outages in Fulton County and Carroll. Though we've got outages, Benton, the greatest number is in Warren County. We've got a lot of power out in Warren County right now. 1,299 outages. And then a lot over here. We've got some, well, Iroquois and Vermilion County, Illinois as well. But multiple outages here. The highest amount in our entire forecast area right now is definitely Warren County. So, Yeah, almost 1,300. In fact, Warren County has the highest number of outages in the state right now from storms. Even up in Porter and LaPorte County, they don't have as many households out of power as Warren County, Indiana. So we've got some really significant power out in Warren County. We've had wind likely here. And some of you have reported the power has gone in and out. But from right now, there are 1,300, nearly 1,300 member consumers without power in Warren County. Again, no other county has that many. I think the second is Porter County, and there's a lot more people there. So this is pretty significant outage for Warren County from all this wind and this really intense storm. So it is 9:20. There's the storm. The worst is leaving Warren County now, and you've got nothing coming your way, thankfully. The worst is now west of Stone Bluff, south of Fountain, and coming into Petersburg. Still a vigorous storm. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch hail and Augusta 60. It appears, though, the storm is showing signs of some weakening. It is still kind of a supercell storm. It's got the structure of one. There's still a lot of lightning with it. We likely still have some really gusty winds associated with it as well. But the worst appears like it may have gotten out of this storm. Yeah, still gustiness, but we're not seeing the intense wind core that we saw when it was up towards 5 Points and north of Fountain. So still gusty winds. We've probably still got wind that is exceeding 50. It's 50 to 55, maybe up to 60, but we're not seeing that signature of 60, 70. And the rotation is just not showing up well at all now. The hail, still showing a hail core. Right there near Fountain and northwest of Stone Bluff. So we still have hail in this storm. Now, it does not look as big as it was. We've probably got peas and marbles. We still have the warning. We may have some of the last of the quarter-size hail that's going to come out of this storm. So hopefully we continue the weakening trend as it moves southward. We're probably going to have more outages showing up, and they're going to be coming into Fountain County. Again, we get all those outages up there in Warren County. It's going to be a day tomorrow and a night for these linemen getting the power back on in Warren County. You talk about hats off. Hats off to them for getting that power back on because we had quite a few outages earlier. Clusters of outages in our northern and eastern counties, and a lot of the power is coming back on in those places. But this storm is still, it is moving due south. It's been moving due south the entire track. I mean, it's been very interesting to note here. From way up here near Milwaukee, it kind of turned a little more southeast, and then it's been due south the entire time. Went supercellular, had a long history here of hail and wind. It's been rotating, and this was behind the first supercell that kind of sideswiped Warren County, Benton County, Fountain County, Vermilion, with wind and hail and a rotation as well. So 2 of these things tonight. And Jason Young's telling me not even 2 tenths in Colfax. I hear you. You know, when you look at this rain, I'll show Jason this and show you all this from today. So here's the rain. Look at that. So you talk about like a donut. So heavy rain, heavier rain, heavier rain. So look at the X. I mean, right there in the middle, just not much. Now, any area that's got the white or gray shading had at least a tenth. The place that had the least amount of rainfall, I'm going to look this up. because it looks like it's right there at Campbell Ag. And Campbell Ag is great because they've got a really nice weather station that really helps me track weather. So at Campbell Ag Service there, northwest of Crawfordsville. And they are right there where there's one of those black dots that didn't even get a tenth of an inch of rain, and that may be the lowest rainfall total in our entire forecast area. And sure enough, they had 1/100th of an inch of rain. So northwest side of Crawfordsville, 1/100th. That is the least amount of rain of anyone in the forecast area so far. The highest amount, certainly Warren County, back here to Western Fountain. You've got these heavier rains in the east, 1.5 to 2 inches, up to 2 inches, Northern Fountain, Northern Jasper. Again, this is where we had that severe weather earlier, back here, back that way. So yeah, right there. How about that? This is the least amount of rain where you see those black dots in the entire area. It's under 1/10 of an inch. So let's see if we got any rain. Well, hey, you got some rain coming. So you're not going to be the driest part of the area. That may actually be Tippecanoe County that ends up being the driest. It's probably going to be Brookston, Chalmers, down to parts of Greater Lafayette. We got a little rain coming in there into Campbell Ag and Crawfordsville and Smartsburg and Newmarket. Still an intense storm, though, is right in Fountain County. I bet Tim Garbison's getting a lot of lightning pictures. He is excellent at taking pictures, and I can always count on a lot of you are just incredible, and how much I appreciate all of you for your reports. First of all, it's extremely helpful, but all the pictures you take too. So I bet Tim, of course, he's not at Petersburg. He's up towards northwest Fountain County, but regardless, I bet he's getting a lot of lightning pictures in a safe way, because there is a tremendous lightning show going on tonight, northwest of Petersburg, Fountain, that northwest corner of Fountain County. And this is still an intense thunderstorm around Stone Bluff and Layton and Petersburg and even Covington. But the worst of it is between Simpson Corner, Layton, and Stone Bluff. So this area right here, the storm is the most intense. And we still probably have a lot of gustiness up in this storm. And likely still hail that is occurring with it. We'll pull our velocity product back on the screen. And yeah, there's still some wind in that thing, where we've probably still got winds 50 to 60 miles an hour in places, and we're still getting a hail signature in it too. It's a little laggy, though we still might be getting some stones up to quarter size on Stone Bluff Road and around West 100 North. And this is going to be crossing Interstate 74, and it will be passing the west side of Petersburg and just west of Petersburg. Yeah, Bree. Yeah, lightning is nonstop in Petersburg. Yep. You're right. I mean, you talk about a show, right? That we got a show going on in Petersburg tonight with all that lightning going on. And really from southern Newton County through Benton, Warren, Fountain, Northern Vermilion, Northern Park, that whole corridor this evening has had one of the best lightning shows in a long time. And even our northern and eastern counties today, tremendous amount of lightning. And, like we were saying, once you get rid of the cap and you release everything, this is what happens when you just release it all. You get these big storms like this that put out big hail and they put out the wind. And if you got enough shear, you put out rotation or a tornado in these storms. New severe thunderstorm warning, big polygon. The Weather Service is thinking this thing is going to hang on. So we got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Central Fountain and nearly all of Park County for the next 46 minutes for 1 inch or quarter size hail and winds of 60 miles an hour. So they're thinking here is, okay, we're going to get enough warmer advection. I really questioned that. If we were going to be able to swing it, you know. Will the dew points drop after the storms? It's still going to be pretty soupy tonight, Samantha. You'll probably notice a bigger drop tomorrow. Tonight, it's still going to be, it won't be as bad as it was earlier, for sure. But it's still going to be a pretty juicy night, you know, muggy, sticky. We still have to get the main cold front through overnight. And if you look here, if we look upstream, we still have a few showers and storms upstream. You see them right here. This is the final deal. This is the final bit of any showers or storms that comes through. It's right here. It will swing through tonight, and then it will start to feel better tomorrow. You know what the problem is? You're going to have smoke tomorrow. There is so much smoke upstream. Tomorrow is going to be hazy. The air quality is going to go downhill, which I'll get into. I've got to do a post. I've got that up at 6 a.m. So I've got to get some caffeine in me, and I'm going to do a post on that for the morning about what we've got coming up tomorrow and over the next few weeks. In the meantime, though, we're just still tracking this big storm that's down here. And it's a ragged-looking supercell, but it's a supercell nonetheless. It's moving right over areas again, actually, that were hit earlier, like, well, south of Covington. And if we look, and actually, the wind is stronger with this storm than it was the last one. Now, the last one, I feel like the worst of it missed the weather station at Covington. So there probably was higher wind west of the weather station, but we're gusting right now to 51 south of Covington. And that's not even in the strongest part of this storm. So we're gusting to 51 here. We know we're probably still gusting to 60 here. And we're sustained near 40. So some pretty intense wind is still coming out of this storm. And unfortunately, I don't think enough of the storm went over the weather station to get a good read on it at Attica, because it's east of Attica. We'll see what I had here. So east of Attica, yeah, the gust was 30. I mean, it wasn't big. It was kind of on the edge of it. How long till it's over in Petersburg? Well, the intense part of the storm still goes up to just south of Stone Bluff. So if you know where Simpson Corner is and Highway or County Road West 100 North. So right here is the end of the worst of it. So it's still nasty in Petersburg. You know, we've got winds probably gusting to 60. The worst hail is just west of Petersburg on 74. It's right on West Dixie B Road between Layton and Petersburg. Again, south of, if we're gusting to 51 south of Covington, that's not even the strongest part of the storm. We know we've got gusts to 60 pretty close to Petersburg, and especially west of Petersburg. Yeah, still very strong winds. And the wind is coming from the northeast. So at that station, it's blowing from this direction. And the wind is sustained more than 30. And we're still gusting more than 40 right now. So I always keep track of everything. And one thing I didn't do is earlier when the storms were coming through Pine Village and Hooker Corner, I was going to see what wind we had registering west of Pine Village. I think it was just outside of the scope of that storm. We still had a gust of 40. So we still had a gust of 40 west of Pine Village, west of 41. All right. So there's the worst of it. It's still doing its thing. Look at that. I mean, we still have strong wind mixed up in this. This is the part that still had the gust more than 50. We probably still have gust of 60 right here. We're still probably getting hail out of it. Peas, maybe marbles. And it's still moving southward. Due south. One thing I haven't done in a while is do a storm track with this due south movement. So let's go ahead and do that. I think I've got this set at 30 miles an hour. So we'll track the strongest part of it, move it south, move it into Park County. And there are the times of arrival. So Kingman, 8 minutes. Kate's, 8 minutes. Silverwood, 17. Tangier and Sylvania, about 15. Grange Corner, 15. Wallace, 15. It's coming into Seam Corner now. Newport, 24. Bloomingdale, 27. West Union, 26. Marshall, 26. Niceville, 35 minutes. Rockville, you already had one storm. You got another one coming in 37 minutes. Coloma, 33. And there is Hillsdale in 35 minutes and Judson in 33 minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for you. This thing's really not rotating much. It's still vaguely supercellular. It's mainly just a wind and hail producer. We'll watch this tail end, but it's awfully ragged. It's mainly just hail and wind that's being produced by this. And one thing, it's 9:36 right now. I'm going to broaden this screen out. There's a pretty vigorous storm that's actually formed, probably on the heels of warm air advection. Remember in Illinois how warm and unstable it is? We've got another pretty intense storm that's formed over Foster. So this is moving due south towards Gessie and Flatiron, and we'll see what that one does. Still getting strong winds and heavy rain reported. Thank you, Don, from in Petersburg. So I'm going to broaden this out a little bit and leave it right here for a second. When nature calls, you got to go to the restroom. And we've been, what do we got? We're more than 3 hours into these supercells. So hang with me for a second. I'll be right back. When nature calls, I can't argue. I can't argue with the body. Okay, everyone, it is 9:40 right now. One last storm. Here it is, one last big storm. The warning continues for Fountain County. There it is, Coal Creek, west of Steam Corner, Mackey, south of Edersburg, west of Centennial. Looks like it's weakening a little bit, but there's still likely hail. I mean, this thing is hanging on. It is hanging on. It's likely still producing winds of 60, and it's still likely producing hail up to 1 inch in diameter. Even an area that got hit earlier. And we have a new storm that's formed near Foster and southwest of Covington. So, again, we got to watch these. And I think it's just this warm air trying to feed in from Illinois that's keeping these things going and going and going. Probably once it gets to Park County, I'm going to transition to just updating on Facebook. I'm about to lose I can feel my voice going away. And then we'll keep updating as it moves through Park County. And I'll have a receipt of storm reports that I have received, because I've gotten quite a few. Actually, we'll map those out graphically and have a graphic up. So, this is a due south moving storm. Be ready in Steam Corner and Harveysburg and Kingman. And Coal Creek wind, hail up to 1 inch in diameter. Doesn't look like a tornado risk anymore. We'll watch the storm west of Covington and near Foster for the risk of wind and some hail too. But everything is moving due south. And before I start to wind things down, I don't want to leave everybody. I want to do one last update on Fountain County. There's nothing else going on. That's the good news here. And the cold front the main front is up here from Grand Rapids to Rockford. Still a few spotty showers and storms tonight. But you know what? We'll take that after today. After a lot of the areas had severe weather, except the center part of the area. Lafayette, Chalmers, Brookston, we have fared well. Romney, Linden, areas that would normally get the severe weather, we have not had it today. It's been west, north, northwest, and east in the area. I got a question here. Why is it so windy in Attica? Well, it's windy with the storm, but a lot of times on the back sides of these storms, what you have is almost like a mini low pressure. The air is rising. Air pressure is dropping so much because the air is rising so much with such a round of storms. You almost form a little meso low. This is how you get MCVs, old vortexes that the next day they are 200 miles to your east and they reform new storms. So we probably have a little mini low pressure, and I can tell you, I can look here at the wind speeds. If the winds are pretty strong out of the south, that's probably just the tremendous pressure drop with these storms when they went through, and now you're seeing the pressure rise. So your pressure tanks when you have a storm like this, and then it rises quickly, and that gradient creates wind, and you're probably getting some strong winds on the backside of this round of storms. This round of storms, you have so much rising air motion. It's no wonder we've got some gustiness north of it outside of the rain as well. So that's where we stand. Storm's going to keep dropping south. Everybody, you're going to storm a little longer at Steam Corner, Harveysburg, Kingman, Wallace, Cates, Coal Creek, Perrysville, south of Covington, Gessie, Rileysburg. The strongest part of this is right here north of Kingman, dropping south. Wind, hail up to 1 inch in diameter. The rest of this could still have gusts that exceed 50. The best chance of a 60 is right here in the middle. I'm going to have a receipt of storm reports. Everybody be safe. We still have the warning that is up for Park County. It's moving southward. This thing's eventually going to weaken with time. It's keeping its act together for now, but it's a wind and some hail threat. And I'm going to keep updating you on Facebook, but that's the only storm we've got left. It's a severe one, but it should be out of here in a little bit. Again, beware in Park County. And I think now's a good time to shift this to just updates on Facebook. We've covered it all day. And then I'll have your forecast up certainly at 6 a.m. on Substack. You'll want to check that out.